All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and for waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. I hope everybody is doing well today. And I see we have a super chat from New Soul 9 right off the bat, which I will read momentarily. I also see that Mini Tom Official is desperately hoping that we do in fact get a new Infamous game from Sucker Punch. Lady Gamer, what's going on? Tarnished, Urfin. I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for asking. Apologies for the late start today. I've had a lot going on this week, so the schedule on the channel has been a little bit chaotic. So I appreciate you guys kind of bearing with it and being flexible like that. So thank you. Oh yeah, good stuff, Lady Gamer. So yeah, today we're going to be talking more about Ghost of Yote. We have new information and some new interviews regarding Ghost of Yote to go over and cover. So we're going to be discussing that. We also have Sucker Punch seemingly hinting at the possibility of something Infamous related maybe coming down the pipeline. Nothing officially confirmed, but we are getting, a direct response from Sucker Punch regarding Infamous, which is something we don't see happen that often. And we're going to be talking about GTA 6 and the absolutely bonkers expectations that at least one analytics firm is expecting in terms of what this game is going to do sales-wise. Diego, what's going on, man? Russ, do I have a PlayStation Portal? I do not have one yet. I would like to get one. Garrett, what's going on, man? I'm thinking about getting a PlayStation Portal in the not-too-distant future. I'm not exactly sure when, but I've been thinking about it for a while now. So it might be something I end up doing. I'm going to read New Soul 9's $5 super chat, but before I do that, I want to ask you guys to please take a moment and hit the like button if you enjoy the streams, if you appreciate the content, and if you want to help out the stream. Take a moment, hit that like button. Let's see if we can bump it up to 50 likes. And New Soul 9 here says with a $5 super chat, I'm surprised Sony hasn't greenlit an Infamous TV series. It can be anime or a live action adaptation. It can be their own The Boys type of series. Well, I would say, New Soul 9, that a lot of people are probably somewhat surprised that Sony hasn't done more with Infamous. But I think the reason for this mostly has to do with Sucker Punch themselves. I think Sucker Punch made it pretty clear, at least a while ago. I think this was not too long after they announced Ghost of Tsushima or after it released. It was around somewhere around that time frame. They did make it clear that they kind of wanted to move on from Infamous, and there were like rumors going around that there was a new Infamous game in development, and they did come out and acknowledge it directly, saying that it's not, they're not doing a Sly Cooper game, they're not doing an Infamous game. And it was interesting because it's not that often that we actually get, a development studio just flat out shutting down the rumors. But I think Sony isn't doing anything with Infamous right now because they have a lot going on with Spider-Man and Wolverine, and Infamous kind of fills in that almost like that superhero type game, that the character with superpowers. It is that type of game, so they might feel like there's too much overlap there. And, Sucker Punch has such a good thing going with Ghost of Tsushima. They do have a Ghost of Tsushima movie in development, and they have Ghost of Yote coming up. So I can understand, like, the idea of Sony maybe doing more with like a TV series, something, and they might do like an anime or something. They're doing a Ghost of Tsushima Legends anime, which is interesting. But people do want more Infamous, and what we're going to talk about today may indicate that we might be getting something Infamous related. I don't want to read too much into it, but it's a possibility. New Soul, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We also have Ray. He says he's trying to get the anniversary edition of the Portal with the September drop. Yeah, for those who don't know, there's going to be another limited, very limited supply, I would assume, drop of the 30th anniversary Portal, the 30th anniversary DualSense, and the 30th anniversary base PS5. I think pre-orders go live on July 21st, so keep that in mind. July 21st, if you want any chance, probably would say check out PlayStation Direct. Guy Gravity, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't really check anymore, to be honest. I don't check anymore. Oh, boss is at the door. Oh, hold on. I just see Garrett saying, "Let boss in." Mrs. MBG says, "Boss is at the door." Hold on. Mini Tom, you're saying the last game I played was that female version of Infamous. I don't know. I think it was called First Light. I think it was like a standalone thing. I think that was the last Infamous product that Sucker Punch developed. Pragmatic Cat, you want the Astro DualSense re-release, not the 30th anniversary? Yeah, we did hear about that, but so far Sony hasn't given any details on that second release of the Astro controller. Another Infamous is so far down the list of a series that I would want another one from. That's what Michael's saying. Irfin, yeah, I'm playing more Death Stranding. I gotta say, man, like, I'm struggling to make, I don't want to say progress because I'm making progress, but I'm struggling to make progress with the story because I keep getting sidetracked. Like, I played for hours this morning, or like really early in the morning, and I think I made like 2% progress for the story because I was like picking up packages again. I'm getting hooked on trying to like 5-star facilities, and I'm gonna have to just like focus. I'm gonna have to focus because there's gonna be plenty of time after I beat the story to wrap everything up. But it's so hard not to get sidetracked, man. I know. Now Luna's at the door. Oh my god. Well, I'm not gonna let Luna in because she's just gonna want to leave. She thinks she's getting treats, but that's not happening. Not right now, anyway. Why would they take Infamous off of PlayStation Plus? Okay. You know what? Yeah, I forgot about that. Diego, that's a good call out right there. They did take Infamous Second Son off of PlayStation Plus, and they didn't explain why. And now we have Sucker Punch acknowledging Infamous directly in a interview. I do wonder. We'll get deeper into it in a little bit. What's been my favorite part of the game so far? Honestly, the part that I enjoyed the most in the first game, which is doing the deliveries. I know that sounds funny. Like, the combat is awesome, and it feels like the pacing of the game is a lot better. Like, things are broken up more where there's more combat with Death Stranding 2. But I don't know, man. There really is just something truly satisfying about taking on a new delivery, prepping your gear, planning out your route. And I like to go on foot, by the way. I think that's another reason why this game is taking so long for me is I know you can use vehicles, you can use zip lines and all this stuff, but most of the time, I mean, if I'm trying to like just quickly deliver like extra cargo, sure, I'll try to go quicker, but I just get immense satisfaction out of just, you know, basically walking from from point A to point B, walking almost the entire time, climbing the mountains. I don't know if I'm like subconsciously trying to make the game more difficult for myself, but I don't think it's that. It's just I don't know why. I get more satisfaction out of it. But to be clear, I've done many deliveries using vehicles and using the monorails and stuff like that. But exactly, Irfin, yeah. I like the transport carriers, though. I think that's what they're called. The ones that you attach to like your belt and you carry behind you. They just kind of hover. Those have proven to be very useful. And I just like the fact that you can kind of detach them and walk away from them and do other stuff and then come back to them. But yeah, I've really, I'm still enjoying my time with Death Stranding 2. And one of the reasons why I do want to certainly try to wrap up the story and get through the remaining chapters is because I would like to do a spoiler cast and talk to you guys more in depth about, you know, what's going on, right? Like, yeah, I use the coffin board or whatever. Crazy. Chris, what's going on, man? Petrov, getting everything to 5 stars in Death Stranding 2 has been a nightmare. It was really fun, but now it's getting tedious, and I effing love this game. The plot is not enough fun as the main game. Yeah, I am a little worried about that too. Like, I wonder if by the time I complete the game, and I maybe I 5 starred a couple facilities, if I'm gonna end up feeling like, oh no, like this is getting way too repetitive or tedious, like you're saying, and maybe unenjoyable. I don't know. I feel like Death Stranding 1, it had that level of tedium, if you want to call it that, or very much like a grind. And I think for most of it, I didn't have any problems. I think there were like a couple parts where I was like getting a little bit like, all right, like this is a bit much. But but I do remember feeling incredibly satisfied by the time I got the platinum in Death Stranding 1. And I think it took me over like 105 hours or something like that. So I do wonder if, I'm going to have a similar trajectory with this game as well. But yeah, I'm still playing it, still enjoying it, taking my time with it, and I just had this situation occur where I had to go to this one area of the map. It's not a spoiler, but it's like this BT section, and you had to pick up like 6 different cargo containers um for somebody called the Fisherman, and I did, but they were like really heavy, and I had like a Boca um exoskeleton, ran out of battery, and you're walking through like tar the entire time, and I just completely ran out of stamina, ran out of battery. I was over encumbered, so I had to just like slowly walk to the shoreline and get back into the chiral network. I had to build a a freaking um charging station, recharge the Boca skeleton, and then I was able to actually complete the order. But it was a whole situation. I'm like, this is what it's all about. Really, bro? Anyway, guys, before we dive into these topics, I want to once again thank you for joining me today and watching the content. If you want to help support the channel, there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can, well, first off, hit the like button. That's the easiest way. But if you want to support more directly, you can become a channel member. You can drop membership gifts. You can drop a super chat, or you can drop a direct donation. These are all ways in which you can help support the content directly. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider that. And a big shout out to anybody who does support the channel in that way. Feed the best. Oh, okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me well, boss is the best, right? I gotta correct that. Didn't notice it. Didn't notice it. We have Omen in the chat saying it's Donkey Kong Bonanza time. Bro just can't. He can't get Nintendo's tendrils off of him, man. But let's start with some of the Ghost of Yote news. Oh, hold on. Lost it for a second. Okay. So Sucker Punch says that Ghost of Yote will still have an important story structure. They say it's not that you can pick any order of the Yote 6. There is an arc with a structure in place, a very important structure. But the way it's presented in the first few hours of the game, especially that first section, is it's really about us delivering delivering to you which aspects of the Yotei 6 you want to go after first. So we have like an interview here that was conducted with Sucker Punch. Omen says, "Come on, MBG. DK Bonanza is Astrobot levels of greatness." Apparently, it is really good. Yeah. Luna just came darting in. Is Erika Ishii going to affect the sales of Yote? Probably not. No. I don't think so. I don't think most people are paying attention to. I don't think most people care. Luna. Apparently, Luna thinks it's snack time too. So. Okay, hold on. Wait, we might have a. We got a full blown battle going on here. All right. What is going on? What is going on? Like, guys, I'm just trying to read the Ghost of Yote interview, and my cats are fighting each other. All right. Chase, you're not late. We started the stream late. You're only like 20 minutes late. So Game Informer sat down with Nate Fox, the director of Ghost of Yote, and asked the question, why set the sequel so far after Tsushima? It takes place about 300 years later, right? Nate Fox says a little bit less. The game takes place in 1603, which is a pretty interesting time in Japanese history. The Warring States period just ended. Peace has broken out across the land, and all these warriors suddenly don't have jobs anymore. And a number of them went to Ezo, modern-day Hokkaido, which is in the far north, which is the edge of Japan. And this place is a lawless wilderness, right? Very, very dangerous, packed with people, with weapons, and some of them have chips on their shoulders. You take that kind of powder keg, and you put it alongside this unbelievably beautiful landscape of Hokkaido. It's just gorgeous. This is the kind of spot you want to put your open world video game, right? It's exciting. So hence, the game takes place in 1603, where we get to know this new hero, Atsu, in an origin story that we're really excited to tell. The next question is, will there be ties to Tsushima beyond the mechanics and Japanese setting? Are there going to be any narrative ties to Jin Sakai's story? Nate Fox says, this game is very much its own story. It is a spiritual sequel. You don't need to have played Ghost of Tsushima to jump right into Ghost of Yote. It is a game where the player is considered something of a ghost. Atsu is considered an Anryo, an avenging spirit by the people of Ezo, because she keeps living through all these attempts to get revenge, and she becomes a walking legend in the land that she explores. Her reputation precedes her. In this way, it's similar, but it's very much its own story. So I like the questions that Game Informer's asking straight up. Are we going, like, is there going to be any ties to Jin Sakai? It sounds like they're saying no, but I think from a story perspective, there's not going to be any ties. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are some Easter eggs, some nods to Jin Sakai scattered throughout, Ghost of Yote. I just don't think they want to spoil it. Unless they are, I will be honest, if they don't give a single nod to Jin Sakai, that's going to be weird. A tail. I was thinking maybe like an armor set or something like that. Like basically you go on, you do some kind of side mission and they do kind of tell a story of the ghost or whatever, and you end up getting maybe his like armor set. That would be pretty sick. Something along those lines. But the next question that they asked is, a lot of research went into both of these games. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was and what it entailed? And Jason Connell is also part of this interview, who is, I think, the other director or producer. And he says the research is, as you suggest, it's not only a lot of enjoyable work. We get to have a lot of fun watching great movies, building relationships with new advisors, that kind of help us to understand the thoughtful and tasteful ways to make decisions on the game. But it's also just necessary, right? Like if we're going to make a game, as you know, our studio is a West Coast studio in the United States, and we're depicting this culture. It feels like you have to be this tall to ride. You have to do it, and then there's doing it really well. We're so lucky that we found so many great advisors to help us in this game. In particular, a number of folks have helped us. Nate and I got to go on a research trip again for this one. It was really kind of focused on Hokkaido at large, and we spent a number of days, like 9 or 10 days or something like that, just all over Hokkaido. And we actually got to meet some members of the Ainu community, and one of them is actually one of our advisors. The family helps advise on the game in a number of ways. There are scripts that they were involved in, or even the patterns. If you look over the Ainu, they have these beautiful, elegant, awesome patterns, and they helped us understand the reasoning behind the art choices of those patterns. It is something we just have no idea about, and so they totally help us. They understand that we're making a piece of entertainment for a global audience and understanding how to depict their culture in a thoughtful and respectful way. That's really important to us. It's a lot of work up front, but it pays off in the end. So just want to give credit to Sucker Punch here. And I see we have Omen86 coming in, dropping 5 membership gifts for you guys. And he says, member train anybody. Boss is hungry. Well, we'll see, Omen. Yeah, Omen, he wants to get a member train started. He drops 5 for you guys. I will add that to the counter. He wants to get to that 25 so we can feed the beast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we'll see. We'll see, man. There have been many times where we go a little bit without a member train, and then out of nowhere, one just happens, and then we crush the goal. It's not time yet, boss. Don't get too excited. But Omen's kicking it off for us. Thank you so much for the support, man. He was able to break away from his Switch 2 for just a moment. For just a moment to make that happen. Good stuff, man. Sorry if I'm talking too loudly into the mic, by the way. I probably have it too close. Yeah, just got to give credit to Sucker Punch here, man. They are once again doing what they did for Tsushima, where they're doing their due diligence. They're trying to be as historically accurate and respectful as possible. And, you know, there are a lot of people, you're playing Switch during stream, that's awesome. A lot of people don't, you know, they're looking at the fact that this is a female samurai, or not a samurai, but like a female warrior in this region of Japan at this time, and they don't seem to understand that, like, actually that is accurate. If you do a little bit of research, you'll see that Hokkaido at this time, there were actually like I think what basically came across as like female samurai or female warriors in that region at that time, and it was basically like the Wild West. It was kind of crazy. And also, something I want to mention that I just recently learned, I was watching a video. I forget the name of the person who made the video, but Sucker Punch says that you will be able to explore all of Hokkaido. And what's really interesting about that is if you look on a map and you compare the size of Tsushima Island to Hokkaido, it's actually insane. So they didn't show the entire map, but the map for Ghost of Yote may be like 3 or 4 times bigger than Tsushima. I don't know if they've talked about this yet, but they did say you will be able to explore all of Hokkaido. Now, I don't think it's going to be a 1-to-1 accurate representation because that would be impossible. But the point is, Hokkaido is way, way bigger than Tsushima. Like, you could probably fit like 10 Tsushima islands in Hokkaido or something like that. So I do wonder how much bigger this map is actually going to be compared to, because Tsushima was big. That was a big map. There were like quite a few different areas. But yeah, people do care about that, Chris. People are hypercritical, and I've seen quite literally some of the dumbest stuff I think I've seen in a long time on Twitter the past couple of weeks in regards to a video game, that being Ghost of Yote. I don't get it. In my opinion, it's their loss, dude. Honestly, like, I don't even get mad. I just feel like that sucks, man. Like, Permahat MBG doing... Yeah, we're going to get the Permahat, bro. I keep forgetting about that. One day I'll get the Permahat merch. If they can make the open world feel more interesting, I'm here for it. But if it's more of collect this and collect that, I don't know. Well, one of the things that they seem to be very much focused on with Ghost of Yotei is, I mean, I'm assuming it will be a lot of collecting things. I think that's a given. Um, how different and interesting certain encounters will be remains to be seen. But for me, it does seem like a major um major focal point is they want more organic exploration. Like they want you to kind of just like scout the areas yourself, find points of interest, and just kind of go investigate yourself and see what you discover. And I think I like that because I feel like that's the angle they should be taking, where there's gonna be a lot of normal open world things that you're gonna do in this game that you do in every other open world game, but the way in which you kind of engage with it, right? The way in which you discover these things and the way in which you explore. I think these are areas that Sucker Punch seems to be trying to evoke a different type of feeling or a overall more satisfying feeling. And we have JMR77, a member for 6 months. Thank you for that, buddy. He says, I just feel like people want to have something to hate on. It's absolutely pathetic. Ghost of Yote will be one of the games. I think you meant say one of the best games of the gen. I'm unbelievably hyped. I mean, that's absolutely true, JMR. I think that I think the fact that we have yet to see anything that looks even remotely bad or concerning with this game, and the fact that you still see so many people, I think they are the vocal minority, but you see so many people trying to find something wrong with it. It's like, yeah, it very much reads like they're just trying to find something to hate on, and I think they're struggling. I do. I think the only thing they can really point to is, oh my god, the actress is a activist. It's like, who cares, dude? Like, grow up, grow up, go focus your energy on something you actually like. But I agree with you, JMR. I think this is going to be one of the best games we get this generation, no doubt. I'm actually, the more I'm seeing and hearing about Ghost of Yote, like the more hyped I'm getting for it. And we have Armani Coleman with a $2 super chat who says it would be a good time to show Rise of Hydra soon. Armani keeps coming in being like, so about that Rise of Hydra, bro. What about that Rise of Hydra? I think we're going to see it, Armani. I think we're going to see it before the summer ends. I don't think you have to worry. But the ties to PlayStation, Marvel 1943, Rise of Hydra, Amy Hennig is directing that game. She directed the first 3 Uncharted games. So it's understandable why specifically PlayStation players who are fans of Uncharted are going to want to pay attention to this upcoming Marvel game. And I think it'll be her first game since Uncharted, I believe, which is crazy. Oh God, what's going on in my chat? Why is Mrs. MEG asking me to do a Donkey Kong Bonanza stream with her? Like, come on, guys, what's going on? I don't like this. Stop putting the pressure on me. And Omen 86 comes in and drops another 5 bomb on you guys. He's like, you know what? I'm going to have to get this train going myself. He drops 10 member gifts. That's me trying to play Donkey Kong on the Switch too. Omen, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That brings us up to 10. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't think Corey or Hellbound are here yet. Maybe. I don't know if it's because I streamed a little bit later. I think I'm throwing some people off. I went live about an hour and a half later than I normally do. And I apologize for that, but it happens sometimes. So I wonder if that's why some of the usuals, some of the regulars are not here. I think maybe they're like, oh, I guess he's not streaming today. And Dreadful83 comes in and drops a single member gift. Dreadful says, you know what? I want to get the train going. I want to keep it going. He drops a single gift, brings us up to 11. Yeah, guys, keep in mind, you can always drop single member gifts as well. We will be doing a members lounge very soon. I'm thinking about when I do the next members lounge, maybe playing a little bit of Astrobot because I'm on the last level. It's a master challenge level, and I can't do it. I'm like stuck on it. So maybe we can do that. Because I need one more bot. I'm so close to 100%ing Astro. We also have Makui Ninja, member for 15 months. Thank you for that, buddy. Saying I'm getting the whole thing: Ghost of Yotei Collector's Edition, Pro Plates, and the gold controller. You're going all in, man. All in. I like it. Yeah, the only thing I feel bad about is people who own the original base model PS5. I think they feel kind of gypped because they're not getting plates. From software exclusive on Switch 2. Nintendo does what Sony don't. Bro, Omen went full tilt. He went full tilt. He did a full-blown 180. How long until Omen is in the chat being like, I'm not giving Sony another cent? Chris Brown with the $2 super chat says, learned Amy kind of fumbled Uncharted 4, hence the delays. It seemed like there were some issues behind the scenes with Uncharted 4. I don't think we'll ever learn, at least up till this point, we haven't learned exactly what happened. I don't know how much of it is she was fumbling it behind the scenes or, you know, the only thing we do know is that apparently Uncharted 4 did get rebooted and Amy Hennig did depart Naughty Dog. I don't think we have the, as far as I'm aware, I don't think we have the explicit details. Garrett says, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I have the OG PS5 and I got it day one. And this is how they treat us. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's a garbage move from Sony. I feel like they should at least have a certain amount that they produce because it really does suck that if you're one of the first people that supported the PS5 and you didn't upgrade to the Pro, you're kind of getting punished here. I think that's just kind of messed up. I think that they could at least produce a few, maybe like a couple thousand. I don't know if that would be too much, but just produce some for the original model, just a few. Omen says, no way, MBG PlayStation still reigns supreme. Ghost of Yote is my most anticipated game right now. P.S. Banana. We'll see, Omen. I believe you. You do have a framed picture of Jim Ryan on your wall after all. So, and we have Makui Ninja with a $5 super chat who says, true, traded my OG PS5, but held on to my Spider-Man 2 plates, up for grabs as if anyone wants it. Well, I feel like in Sony's eyes, they're like, well, all right, we're going to make the first set of limited edition plates for the PS5 Pro. So something's got to give. They're like, look, we're either going to do the OG PS5 or we're going to do the Pro. And I think that they're like, yeah, we'll go for the Pro. And I don't know, maybe this is Sony's way of trying to tempt certain people out there. Like, you want to upgrade now? You want to get the Pro now? You want to get the PS5 Slim? But yeah, Makui Ninja, I have the Spider-Man plates as well. I still have them for the original PS5. And I think I have the DualSense as well. I went all in with the Spider-Man stuff. I don't know why. I'm not even the biggest Spider-Man fan, but I just really liked the way it looked. I think it was because it was like, had the black on it, representing the symbiote and Venom. The next question that Game Informer asks the director of Ghost of Yote, was there anything during that research that you did for Yote that surprised you? Maybe something players might be surprised to learn is accurate. He says, here's a couple. I don't know how people will experience it, but here are some things that were just shocking to me in different ways. Like, for example, the name of the game. We visited this lake that overlooked Mount Yote off in the distance. Nate and I had a similar, beautifully reflective moment, the same type of moment. Tsushima, remember the river? And then here, it felt like it was Yote. It was just this gorgeous kind of mountain we saw midway through our trip, and we've seen a lot of beauty, but that moment, it felt like, wow, Yote means something. And it was starting to shape up at that point in the art of our game and the story of our game, and where everything takes place to be sort of a centralizing point, and all these kinds of things point together, and then eventually it all goes to Yote. It was a really flagpole sort of moment for us, and sort of how the world kind of came together, even to the point where it is uh, it is the name of the story. And the other thing is the wolf is actually a real wolf. It's an Ezo wolf that is now extinct. So it's awesome to be able to show this ferociously awesome animal. And Nate Fox says, yeah, they're very big. So actually, the first part of what he said, I wasn't too interested in. And Stephen Leon, bro, I'm over here reading an interview while Stephen Leon is over here dropping 25 membership gifts for you guys. Steven's like, you know what, man? We are going to keep this member train going. He drops 25 member gifts for you and crushes the goal. It's time to feed the beast.
Boast, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
It's okay, Steven. It's okay, bro. Dude, you know I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the support. Are you ready? You ready for the treats? Look at the way he looks at me. He never knows. He's at my mercy. Steven, once again, thank you so much for the member gifts, man. That brought us up to 36 members on the day. So we did do a members lounge not that long ago. If you got gifted a membership, go check out that members lounge. We did some reaction content. Luna, chill. Hold on. Chill. You'll go next. Don't start fighting boss. Oh, and I forgot to play I got to play the soundbite for Stephen Leon. Hold on. Steven, this one's for you, man. This is for dropping 25 member gifts, bro.
Suck on this!
There you go, man. You were 24 minutes behind. It happens sometimes. Actually, it happens somewhat frequently, I would say. There are quite a few people that sometimes I see in the chat. They're definitely behind on the stream, but I don't, if you're trying to watch everything and not miss it. Also, what the hell's on my hat? And not miss anything. It makes sense that sometimes you're going to get kind of you're going to find yourself a little bit behind sometimes. We will continue with this interview. I'm just going to oops. No, we're not at 236. Just going to update this here. And there we go. We should be good at this point. Stay 24 minutes behind. MBG decided to buy an Xbox. He's just telling us about it right now. But you don't cause that kind of chaos, Gaming Survivor. Dude, I feel like right now is truly the worst time to buy an Xbox. Like, no joke. All right. So, Jason Connell. Yeah, so just to be clear, the wolf that is featured in Ghost of Yote is actually a real wolf that went extinct. And apparently it's a massive wolf. The name of it is an Ezo wolf. And Jason Connell says they're not around anymore. So to celebrate that and sort of have that in our game, and people might not know that, it's just fun that they get to experience that even though they're not real anymore. They don't exist. So yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't know that. That's like an interesting piece of information. Not anything like major, but I definitely did not know that the wolf we were seeing in, like, I knew it was a real wolf. Like wolves, wolves are real, but I didn't know it was a specific type of wolf that only existed in that region during that time that actually went extinct. Kind of sad, but very cool nonetheless. So once again, they're doing their research. And let me just make sure she gets some of hers. The next question that they end up asking, and I think this is an important one. So Game Informer asks the directors of Ghost of Yotei, the quest structure is open in Ghost of Yote? Is it structured as wholly open, where there are 6 people you must kill and go after them in any order or direction you want? Basically, like asking, like, do you have to go in specific order, or can you just go in any order that you want? And they say here, so to be clear, it's not that. It's not that you can just pick any order of the 6. And I'll tell you why. Nate and I and the studio, and you've played a lot of our games, we really believe in the structure of story. It's really important to us that we develop great characters with good arcs, with beginning, middles, and ends. You got to have that, right? That is true. There is an arc with a structure in place, but at the same time, one of the aspects from Ghost of Tsushima that we wanted to not only carry forward, but just do an even better job of, was that sense of curiosity and freedom of exploration that the game delivers upon. And so you have this delicate impasse of, if the story is just perfectly linear and you're just forced on the gold path all the time, you might lose that opportunity for people who just want to explore the landscape. But if you go too far on the other side, you might lose the structure of that story. So the balance, without giving away all the details, is there, and the structure is there, a very important structure. But the way it's presented in the first few hours of the game, especially that first section, is really about us delivering to you which aspects of the Yote 6 you want to go after first. There are some options that might lead you to some interesting areas. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the state of play. If you're into sort of ninjas and snow stuff, then the story over here might be more interesting for you. If you're into these castles and these fire weapons, then this area might be for you. But you can bop back and forth between the two of those major areas. There's a bit more choice in there, but there's still a linear story structure that we really believe in to make sure that Atsu's vengeance quest tears at the heartstrings. That's the ultimate goal. So I thought that this was one of the more important questions that was asked, because I think after the state of play, we had a lot of clarity on a lot of things, but this was one of the things that they didn't really elaborate on well enough, I would say, where we knew that you could kind of go after the Yote 6 freely, right? Like you can kind of choose, but we didn't know how far this extended. We didn't know if this is just like you can kind of experience the story in any way you wanted. And there is an interesting side to that, where if you did do it that way, maybe different things would happen depending on who you go after first and the different interactions and the way they play out. But we are getting explicit confirmation from Sucker Punch that there is a beginning, middle, and end. I don't want to use the term linear, but they're calling it a structure. There's a proper structure. It exists, and you can't just like race. You can't just go after like the last guy or the main guy, and then that's just it. The game's over. But it does. If I'm understanding this correctly, it sounds to me like you can go to the different areas where each of the 6 main villains are, but you can't necessarily progress the story. Like, so if you go to, they say like a snow area, right? And let's say that's like the third main villain of the Yote 6. You can't just, my understanding of this is you can't just immediately go after that guy. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Am I reading this wrong? Because I'm trying to like understand how this is supposed to play out. Because they're saying there is a structure. It sounds like they struck some kind of balance. They're saying you can go to these different areas. They are open from the start. But they're also making it clear that you can't just kind of structure the story any way you want. There is a certain level of linearity with the story. I don't know if I'm confusing myself at this point. Michael, what's going on, man? Um, let's see. There we go. There you go, Lady Gamer. Yeah, you're here literally every single day, like from the start. So mod responsibly. I've had to remove mods before. I don't think I'll have to worry about that with you, Lady Gamer. No, I haven't seen the new Mortal Kombat trailer yet. Haven't seen it yet. I've been seeing a bunch of teasers for it. I'm gonna have to check that out later. You're welcome, Lady Gamer. Michael, what's wrong with you, man? So I won't lie, I'm still a little bit confused on what exactly they're saying here when it comes to the way in which you can go after the Yote 6. I'm just going to leave it at, it sounds like you have the kind of freedom to go where you want and explore new areas as you see fit, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to progress the story in the same way. You will have to continue to go beat by beat with the story. That's how I'm reading this. That's my interpretation. Ubisoft has officially confirmed Assassin's Creed live action 2 hours ago. Wasn't there already an Assassin's Creed movie, though? A new Infamous. Are you for real? Or is this a baseless assumption someone made? Well, no, this is coming from... So Sucker Punch is not announcing a new Infamous, but they're hinting at something Infamous related possibly coming at some point. Basically, they've acknowledged the question, are you going back to Infamous? Are you doing anything more with Infamous? And while they didn't leave us with this, we're going to talk about that. That's coming up later in the interview. They didn't necessarily explicitly say, like, yes, we have a new Infamous we're making, but they say a couple things. They say a couple of interesting things. You want the link? Let me see. So this is actually from Game Informer, the interview that I'm reading right now. There's the link to it. I think we'll be getting to that question very soon. The infamous question. Well, actually, I don't know how far away we are from that question. I'll skip to that question. I got to find it, though, because I know people really want to know about Infamous. Wow, they actually asked some really interesting questions about this interview. Okay, so this was actually one of the last questions they asked, and I want to highlight something. I want to highlight something before I read what they said about Infamous. Keep in mind that these interviews that are done with these PlayStation studios, they have PR people like breathing down their necks. And these are, these are not live. They're not published live. They're edited. So like if they say anything they're not supposed to, it goes through Sony PR. I'm highlighting this because this question was allowed to be asked, and everything that was said was allowed to be said. Knowing, and this is the most important part, knowing that headlines would be written up, okay? So it's not anything major, but it gives us just enough. It says, would you be open to revisiting Infamous, maybe for a trilogy release or something like that? Nate Fox replies and says, I would love to work on more Infamous. I would love to see a trilogy re-release. But Sucker Punch is a one game at a time shop, and right now we are very focused on finishing Ghost of Yotei. So they are making it clear that they're making one game at a time. They're not working on a second game. That's pretty much what they're saying. They're working on Ghost of Yotei. They're finishing it up. They're one game at a time shop. But they specifically say, we would like to see a trilogy re-release. And the director also says he would love to work on more Infamous. Now, look, man, I think when you look at this question and the way it was answered, the way it was presented, the way it was answered, it's kind of just nudged in this interview or like inserted into this interview, all about Ghost of Yote. And you consider the fact that Sony just recently removed Infamous Second Son from PlayStation Plus for no reason. Look, man, I don't want to like jump the gun here, but I think this is basically low-key confirming like we're going to get an Infamous trilogy remaster at the very least. I think Sony would not allow them to say this, dude. I'm telling you right now, Sony PR would not allow this question to be asked, and they certainly would not allow the director of the studio to say, I would love to see a trilogy remaster, if they weren't actually going to do that. I've been following Sony very closely for a long time, and this stands out. This stands out. Like this is something that was clearly allowed to be said. It got the green light, and I think that's because I think we're gonna get it. Remember, MEG, they did the same thing with Horizon 1 before the remaster for the PS5. Now, the thing that I think is even more interesting here is the fact that Nate Fox said, I would love to work on more Infamous. I mean, is it possible he's kind of hinting that when they move on to their next game after Ghost of Yote, they'll do another Infamous? PS6? Oh, I mean, look, man, I don't have too much experience with Infamous. I played Infamous Second Son, and I actually loved it. And people have told me that the first two Infamous games are actually even better. So if they do a remaster trilogy, I will be all over that. But if they want to go back to Infamous after Ghost of Yote and take a break from Ghost and do like a Infamous 4 or something like that, PS6, that'd be incredible. So, you know, I don't want to I don't want to get people's hopes too high. I don't want to walk away from this saying it's confirmed they're doing a new Infamous. They're hinting that they might do another one. They're directly saying they want to work on it again. But I'm telling you, man, I'm going to reread the question. Would you be open to revisiting Infamous for maybe a trilogy release? Answer: I would love to see a trilogy re-release. I mean, this has got to be in the works, right? This has got to be in the works. You think I'm just on the hopium? Well, I'm not taking it as explicit confirmation, but it's like I said, Sony PR, Sony PR is very, 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 very like particular about what they allow their studios to say in interviews, on social media. You know, they're very, very careful. And, you know, an interview like this it goes through Sony PR. It's not just released. And so, you know, I want to also mention one other thing here. I want to mention how there was a rumor. I don't know how true this is. This was like maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago. There was this rumor, and I don't know if the source was valid or not, but it was basically saying that Sony is kind of taking a little break from PC ports. They're not done with PC ports, but they're taking a break because they pretty much ported everything to PC that they felt like they could. And now they're going to move on to other things. And one of the things that they said that they were going to move on to was remastering, like doing like remaster collections. And maybe also putting them on PC, like going back into their older catalog. Now, again, we could not verify if that rumor was true or not, but, you know, I just can't help but look at this, think about that rumor where it's like, yeah, no PC games have been announced for quite some time. Seems like Spider-Man 2 and The Last of Us Part 2 are like wrapping it up. I don't know, man. Leo with the $2 super chat says, "Did you play Donkey Kong Bonanza? Game's awesome." Bro, did Omen 86 pay you to say that? Omen 86, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? No, I haven't played it. I don't even have a Switch 2 yet. At some point, you know, we'll get a Switch 2. I know Mrs. MBG wants it. And Michael Wernick comes in out of nowhere. Michael Wernick comes in and drops 10 more membership gifts for you guys, wanting to keep the member train going, bringing us up to 46 members on the day. Guys, we're on our way. We're on our way to hitting 50. He sets you up for it, less than 5. 4 more memberships. Well, 5 bomb, I guess, would do it. Omen, thank you so much, man.
Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built.
He does it, bro. Michael's keeping that train going. And Hellbound 1981, he is here. He arrives. The legend. He drops the 5 to bring us to 51 members, which means I'm going to owe you guys reps at the end of this stream today. We'll do... If we can hit 75, we'll give Leia some catnip. Why not? We'll give Leia some catnip. She always loves her catnip. Oh. Hellbound. That's for you, bro. That's for you. And also... You want more reps. More reps. But, yeah, guys, thank you so much for the member gifts. You guys are sponsoring the channel. You make this content possible, and I very much appreciate it. Hellbound is very much enjoying those sound bites. Racket Raccoon with a $5 super chat says, "It's interesting that question was asked and he gave an answer. I imagine usually when questions like that are asked, they're not shown usually." Exactly. Racket Raccoon, see, you're picking up on it too, where questions like this... Yeah, if Sony PR, their main focus is what's going to be written. What are the headlines going to be? What are the headlines? And they don't want to put headlines out there willingly, you know, through, like, for example, every time you hear an interview with Neil Druckmann and he says anything about The Last of Us Part 3, you know, whether it's about, oh, I have a script, or, you know, I think we have one more story to tell, or I don't know, it might be done. Like, that's all stuff that has to be pre-approved before it goes out there. And there's, God knows how much stuff that these developers have said, or even executives in interviews, that Sony PR is like, don't, like, delete that. That's not going out. That happens all the time. And I think the fact that the question specifically, it's not, you know, are you going to make a new Infamous? The question is, and keep in mind, this is just out of nowhere, seemingly. I didn't read the rest of the interview, but it's just basically like, what about a trilogy remaster? Like, just out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, we'd love to see that. Maybe that's what Blue Point's going to work on next. Yo, actually, that would be great. I hope it happens. The Infamous series is one that, again, I don't have enough experience in. I played Second Son and I loved it. I would really love to play the original games, because a lot of people I've talked to have told me that the original games are significantly better than Second Son, at least in their opinion. And I've seen that numerous times. So, you know, I'm not going to go back to PS3, truthfully, to play these games. But if Sony does a remaster collection, or if they bring them the PS5, I will absolutely buy that and play it. Once you log off, Mrs. MBG is expecting a Switch 2. We will wait for your unboxing tomorrow. Whoa, what is going on here? What is going on here, guys? Hold on now. Yo, I'm at a point, like, straight up, I'm about to open a P.O. box. You want to give Mrs. MBG a Switch 2? There you go. Open a P.O. box. You send her to Switch 2. You send her Donkey Kong. Hmm? There's your goal number 2. Mr. and Mrs. MBG Switch 2 unboxing, members only. Not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea. You know, it would be so funny. Somebody sends us a Switch 2, and we do like a members only like unboxing celebration with Mrs. MBG. And I just randomly pull out, here's my PlayStation Portal. I'm going to unbox that now. Gaming Survivor says, I think modding has mellowed me out. I used to be far more violent as a regular chatter. That is true. That is true, Gaming Survivor. All right, let's Omen's still screaming banana in the chat. Let's continue with this interview. Where did I leave off here? Hold on. So the last thing we talked about was the quest structure. All right, so the next question that Sucker Punch was asked, speaking of heartstrings, you are able to instantly switch to the past to learn about Atsu and her family when she was a child. Where and how often can you do that? By the way, can I take a moment? Because I feel like I didn't even think of this, but I saw somebody mention it, and I'm like, yo, that's actually a really good call out. That mechanic where you can just at the touch of a button, you can switch back and forth at will between present day and the past. That's the PS5's SSD at work, is it not? Like, that's a type of mechanic that I feel like that insanely fast, like, SSD and IO throughput would facilitate. Like, pretty much like what we saw with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, when you could do the, you know, instantaneous portal switching. I just wanted to highlight that because when we talked about at the beginning of this generation, you know, some of the things that Sony Studios could do with the speed of the PS5 to make the gameplay mechanics more interesting. I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, you know what? This is actually that's actually really unique and interesting and not something I think we've really seen before, at least as far as I can remember. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. And we have Rock Fresh, a member for 2 months, who says 5-star info. He's saying 5-star info, bro, for the Ghost of Yote interview. Rock Fresh, thank you for that, man. And we also have Overexposure, a member for 11 months, who says, just got my tickets to see PlayStation, the concert. They're playing music from all the PlayStation games live. I can't wait to hear God of War and Bloodborne. Oh, yeah, Bloodborne. Are they doing Bloodborne? Is that confirmed? I know God of War would show up. But Bloodborne would be awesome. Yeah, Bloodborne's music is incredible. God of War's is awesome as well, but you can experience it free on YouTube. I mean, yeah, but it's not the same, you know. That's awesome if they confirm Bloodborne. A little bit surprising. A little bit surprising, truthfully. Garrett, you were saying you were going to go, but it's too expensive. I've seen some people pretty hyped for the PlayStation concert. This seems to be a more common thing that's happening now, these gaming concerts. Chris, you're going to the Death Stranding Orchestra concert in November? Yeah, see? Digital Dude, I would read your chat, but my live chat is breaking in real time. So hold on. I hope my stream doesn't crash. Okay, I think we're good now. Leo with the $2 chat says, Mrs. MBG, not worth the Switch 2. Hey, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Hey, no. Before you gaslight me, Leo, I'll have you know, Mrs. MBG said she's okay waiting for a Switch 2. She's okay waiting she wants to see more games revealed from Nintendo. She specifically wants new Animal Crossing. Don't turn this around on me. Now you're not. Now, of course, now you want Donkey Kong. See what you guys do? I hope you're happy. Bro, I'm opening that P.O. box. Digital Dude, for some reason, I don't think your last message actually came through. Hold on, though. Digital Dude, so I can actually see the message you sent. Yeah, it automatically got held. I'm not reading that, bro. You know what's funny, Digital Dude? For what the PS for what the PSP stood for. What's funny about that is, dude, I don't recall anybody ever saying that. I did have a PSP back in the day, but I don't think I encountered anybody who said that. But you know what? That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. It's too easy. Overexposure, you're saying the tickets for the PlayStation concert were $80 where you are? That's not too bad. Yeah. But yeah, apparently there's a new Nintendo Direct happening. Ah, God, man. See, I don't know. I just can't get into Nintendo like that, man. Yeah, new avatars out for Ghost of Tsushima to celebrate the 5-year anniversary. Michael, are you you're trying to guess what PSP stands for? Is that what you're asking for people to guess in the chat? Pretty small. And then you can fill in the blank. Don't type it, though. Just think it. Yeah, pretty small portable. There you go. You got it. Your mind's in the right place, Michael. You hope Sony raises games to $200, so I know I'm getting the best exclusives on the market. Chris, get out. Oh, man. The girl from Intergalactic is going to be bald Jade in the new Mortal Kombat movie. What? Hold on. We're getting sidetracked. We'll get back. We're going to finish the Ghost of Yote interview. Is that actually true, though? Like she's in Mortal Kombat? I'm looking now. I'm looking at some of the posters now, dude. It looks pretty. I have to watch the trailer, but it looks pretty good. Scorpion looks cool. Carl Urban as Johnny Cage is awesome. Baraka. I'll have to check that trailer out. You're being dead serious? Oh. Well, the trailer's awful. Oh, man. Yeah, maybe I'll have to react to it at the end of the stream. Omen says, I love this positive Nintendo vibe. Steven, you just saw it. All right. Yeah, I'll have to check that out a little bit later. Carl does not look like Johnny Cage. He looks like an older Johnny Cage, in my opinion. Petrov says it was a great trailer. Oh, there are several trailers out? Why am I not aware? Why am I just finding this out now? Well, to be fair, I didn't watch the last Mortal Kombat movie. The only Mortal Kombat movie that exists to me is the one that came out in the 90s, the first one. That was a good movie. I enjoyed that. I watched that a lot growing up. Chris, you're probably right about that. Yeah, the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, to me that's my Mortal Kombat movie. That's the one I grew up watching. Would I pay $250 for GTA 6? No. No, I wouldn't. If it was like to get it like months early, sure. Like if somebody was like, I got a early copy. Actually, I'd probably go to jail or something, so maybe still no. Anyway, back to the interview. Getting way too sidetracked. Okay, so the next question, speaking of heartstrings, you're able to instantly switch to the past to learn about Atsu and her family when she was a child. Where and how often can you do that? Nate Fox says there are a few places in the world that have a lot of memories for Atsu. When you get to these locations, you can hit a button and instantly be transported to the past. You control young Atsu in these locations. You can go back and forth as much as you want in the moment and see maybe how this location has changed, what it looks like right now as an adult, and what it looked like back in your youth. And we want to give players the freedom to kind of go back and forth and to experience some gameplay as a kid so they can recall what it is, so they can feel what it is that Atsu feels, what she lost when her parents were taken from her. They say, I'm also curious in a much less emotional way how it works technically. Ghost of Tsushima had incredibly impressive load times, even on the PlayStation 4. Is this one of the ways that you're taking advantage of the PlayStation 5, swapping to the past? You're absolutely right. It is because of the PlayStation 5 that we can do this flipping back and forth. It's very powerful business to have both of them on at one time. And it's allowing us to give you the experience of spending time with your brother and your parents and getting to know them because, of course, your whole family got wiped out, right? I'm glad that we have that opportunity to give players exposure to that in this layered fashion. Jason Connell replies by saying it absolutely helps in the memory feature to be able to just mash the button back and forth and see all the cool things change very quickly. It's very cool in a very cool and poetic way. But honestly, there's a whole host of things that we also got to improve upon. There's much further sight lines, making mountains feel very far away. The team did such a great job making them feel epic, large, and big. The terrain tessellation, we've done some work on there, higher fidelity rendering for far terrain. In general, it just looks much higher quality than some of our far away distance stuff in the past. There's a bunch of localized volumetric fog. We love the fog, and we had more of just the standard fog in the last game, and it was beautiful and really well done. But now there's actually localized volumetric work. We did some work on low-lying clouds, and we improved skin and hair rendering. At some point, we're going to do here's all the cool base and pro sort of features, and we'll outline it all. But one of the great parts of working on the second installment of something is that you get to take all those features and iterate on them in a way that's not just, photorealism button. Who cares about that? It's about the artistic expression that we're going for, the art. There's a style to Ghost that is really important, and that's not just pure photorealism though photorealism has an aspect to it. It's really taking that style, bringing it a little bit more forward, and developing features that help achieve our visual and aesthetic and emotional and tonal goals, like creating the Aurora Borealis, if I could say that correctly. We didn't have that in the last game. Being able to create effects that go into the skybox, these are things we didn't have, and they're not just buttons of photorealism and rendering. They're directed by the experience that we would like to have. So, some pretty long-winded answers there, but I do find it interesting what he's saying here, because one of the things that people were talking about after the Ghost of Yote State of Play is they were like, well, does this look much different than Tsushima? Like I'm not seeing the graphical difference. But I think that if you take a closer look, right, especially if you watch it in 4K, because when we were watching it live, it was very compressed, and I think a lot of people saw the more compressed version. But I was noticing differences. I'm like, this looks a lot better in some ways than Tsushima. But you could also tell that they were not hyper focused on the photorealistic factor. And I did say that one of the greatest strengths of Ghost of Tsushima was its art style and its art direction. And it seems like that is an intentional choice. And they're making it clear that they want to kind of focus in on that even more, where they're talking about draw distances, volumetric fog, the low hanging clouds and stuff like that. But I want to highlight one other thing that they just kind of throw in here. They said they're going to be doing a how did they word it? Where was it here? So they said at some point we're going to do here's all of the cool things the base PS5 and the PS5 Pro can do. And so that's going to be interesting because it does seem like what we saw in the state of play was a base PS5 version of the game. They said at the beginning it was captured on PS5. They didn't say PS5 Pro. So I'm wondering if they do have, more marketing beats that they're going to go. Well, they flat out confirm it here. They're going to be doing some comparisons and letting us know the features that they're going to have. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm curious to know what the Pro is going to do for this game, because seemingly they haven't talked about that yet and they haven't shown it. But even what we're seeing just on the base PS5, I think looks very good. It's a good thing. Under promise, over perform. The next question is fast travel. Is it still super fast? Ghost of Tsushima has some of the fastest fast travel loading of any game. They respond saying, "Yup, super fast. It's a convenience thing, right? That's not going anywhere because people like it so much, but yeah, it's very quick. I know you told me all these wonderful technical things, and I'm just like, but when I want to go somewhere else, can I go there really fast, right?" And they say, "Yeah, people love it. You can." So pretty much they're just confirming that the instantaneous fast travel that was present in Tsushima will be present again in Yote. 0 point. I doubt that's going to be a thing in the game. I'm only laughing, because people probably said the same thing about Aloy, and it's like, oh, well, that did happen. So, is PlayStation still using Kraken? The Kraken compression? I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah. MBG, real question: does Jim Ryan have a PSP? Probably not. No, I don't think so. I don't think Jim Ryan's actually a gamer. Like, I don't think he plays games. I mean, he might own one, just for keepsake or whatever. Well, I mean, 0 point, to be fair, if that's the actress is, by the way, I don't think it matters. I mean, I've seen people on the internet posting some pretty mean stuff about the actress who plays Atsu in Ghost of Yote, but she is in real life. Are they going to translate that into the game? It wouldn't matter to me. Like, to be honest, that's not something I'm really interested in. Like, in Ghost of Tsushima, Jin didn't have seemingly like there wasn't really a romantic angle. Like, there was it seemed like there may have been something there with Jin and what's the other character's name? The woman, what's her name? It's like at the tip of my tongue. I think her name starts with a Y. Yuna. There we go. Thank you. I was like, it's right there, Yuna. It seemed like there may have been something there, but they chose not to go in that direction. They're just like, we're not trying to tell a romantic story. They're just, they're good partners and friends. And I'm like, yeah, that I think that was a good decision, because it helps kind of just focus on Jin and his kind of internal struggle a little bit. I'm very much getting the vibe that they're going to be doing the same thing with Ghost of Yote and Atsu, where she's very much like a lone wolf. She will, I think come across a lot of people that she will befriend. And, people that will help her, but I generally get the vibe that she really is just going to kind of remain a lone wolf, and there's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be like some kind of romantic angle or love interest in this game. There could be, but I'm not anticipating it. All right. Let's see. So the next question is, the wind navigation system is crucial to Tsushima. It's one of the most memorable aspects of the game. We saw a little bit of it in the state of play, but I was curious how it has been iterated on for Ghost of Yote. Jason Connell says the wind system, there's been some iteration on it. Ezo is such a vast place that we have developed some features for the wind to sort of guide around big objects. The last game, it was just linear. It was just like point to the place and you go there. Doesn't matter if there's a giant cliff there or not. And now we have actually a little bit of a system to help guide around some of the major obstacles to make it a little bit more of an improved experience for such a vast world. Traversal is super helped with the experience versus it being linear. But on top of that, we just did a whole bunch of other exploration forward features because wind is birthed out of the feeling that we want to create a diegetic experience where we want you to be in the game world so you can keep looking at the game world as much as you can. We've augmented that, with a couple of other features like the shamisen Atsu carries on her back. You learn certain songs, and those certain songs will guide you to certain things. There's a lot of things that we've created like that, like the wind, that are just nice additions to the diegetic exploration experience. Now, I actually like the response that they're giving here. They didn't dramatically change anything with the wind guidance system, but I think what they decided to add to it is actually really helpful, where they're making it clear that if you're using the wind system to kind of help get you where you want to go, you're not going to have to worry about just like it taking you right off a cliff or, running into a building or something like that. Because if I recall correctly, I did actually run into that problem a couple of times. In Ghost of Tsushima. But all right, let me see. Oh, come on. Yeah, 0 point. Come on, bro. We're not trying to have that kind of talk. We're not doing that. We're an accepting. This is an accepting place. All right. Listen, they're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. We're not trying to make the conversation about that. Lady Gamer's already being tested. But he does ask, do we have to make a camp every time we're on the go, or if we have 0 ammo to replenish? I don't know. Like, the camp system that they've shown and talked about, I do like what they're going for. I don't know how dynamic it is. Like, if you can just kind of, at any moment, just anywhere, like, here we go, I'm just dropping my camp, And like, if you were to pack it up and then like you move 100 feet, like, I'm going to do it again. I'm assuming you could do it like that. I don't recall in the state of play if they tell you straight up, like, you can do it anywhere. Maybe they did. Chris says he's enjoying the Turok trilogy on Switch 2 at the moment. So, when it comes to navigating the world of Yote, they're once again reiterating, and I think it's pretty clear, like, they want you to just try to explore and navigate the world as naturally as you possibly can without having to refer to the map. And they're trying to put as many tools there and as many things there for you as they possibly can to just make it a natural, seamless thing. I really appreciate that angle. I do. So the next question is, how did the new I don't know how to pronounce this. Mikkei, maybe I'm saying that correctly. And Watanabe director modes come to exist. Did you meet Mikkei and Watanabe? I don't know if I'm saying their names correctly, so I do apologize if I'm butchering them. And they say, what were those meetings like? They said, yeah, we did meet with them. First, I should say that these modes, especially for the first one, the Akira Kurosawa mode in the last game, was birthed out of our just love and joy. We were like, we should have a black and white mode because there's so much of these films that we've watched over and over again to sort of learn the nuance of how to bring those moments to life. And that birthed into, oh, I wonder if we could partner with the Kurosawa estate and see if we can get his namesake in it. That ended up working really well for us, and we felt that was great fanfare for people that care about this stuff as much as we do. And then moving forward, well, we have that again. And we were very excited that they would like to partner with us again. So we did. And we thought, who else? We started looking around, and we had two that and they're both very different. We wanted something that was maybe a bit more combat driven and one that was more audible. The combat one was like, look at 13 Assassins. That was our number one reference point, or at least one of the top reference points for Ghost in general. Ghost of Tsushima, 13 Assassins. Ghost of Yote, there's some 13 Assassin stuff in that too. Improvisational sort of fighting, grabbing weapons, that style of combat is a massive reference point. We reached out to Mikkei. He was super stoked. We had a really great conversation. He's such a cool, creative individual. He's even got a sword kit in the game players can find. It has a special name. He named it, and it's so very, very exciting. Watanabe is the same thing. His show Lazarus has just come out, or I just recently watched it. He had heard about our game, so it was really nice, a really nice touchstone, and it felt like there was a nice overlap of what we're trying to show off. And I was so excited about it. It's really cool. It's really fun as fans of the genre in general to be able to take the thing that we've created and inject some fanfare collaborations for all the people that do care about that kind of stuff. Some people won't turn these modes on and won't even know they exist, but that people will hopefully love them as much as we have been. But the hope is that people will love them as much as we've been inspired by them. So just talking about the new modes, yeah, people were going nuts for these new modes, honestly. And I'm not too familiar. Like, I know people were going nuts with the lo-fi beats. I'm not too familiar with it. All I know is that when they showed that part off, I'm like, that's actually really sick. I don't know if I'll play the whole game like that, but I would like to mess around with it a little bit. The mode that is focused on combat that makes it like bloodier and there's more mud being slung around, I actually think that's really cool. I might turn that mode on. All right. What is going on in my chat right now? Saying, gotta say, this interview really shows the passion that Sucker Punch has for the genre. Yeah, I agree. Omen's still telling me to play Trek to Yomi. I don't know, Omen. Right now, I'm fully focused on Death Stranding, man. Like, it's taking me a lot longer to get through this game than I originally thought. Blood and mud for the story and lo-fi beats during exploration for me, says Nathan Drake. The next question is, not sure if it is the right term in game, but can you befriend more of the wolves? In the stated play while showing off the photo mode, we see Atsu standing with a bear. Nate Fox says the wolf shadows you throughout your adventure. It's a wild animal. It's definitely not a dog that comes when called. It is an ally that is a representation of the wilderness. Now, Atsu is kind of attuned to the natural world, and so there are a great variety of different animals in Ezo that she can kind of get close to and interact with, like a big herd of wild horses you can ride instead of and kind of speed up as you're amongst them all. It's a great thing for players to discover as they're out exploring Ezo itself. But as far as allies go, the wolf is your prime animal ally. The next question is, the internet is speculating that the wolf is Jin Sakai reincarnated. Do you have any comment on that? Jason Connell says, I love our fans. They're so creative. I love it. He didn't say no. He didn't say no, though. That is really cool. Like the wolf will just show up and randomly help you. Yeah. You're not in control of it. I kind of like that. I like that angle. Where like you never know when it might show up. Yeah, Jin reincarnated into a wolf 300 years later. He reincarnated down. No, that's I understand where people are coming from though, you know? All right, so the next question is how do the camps work specifically? Can you request certain vendors come right to you? And this is the answer they give. Effectively, I'll say this. It is another way we're trying to create a feature that tonally fits within the landscape. Big, wild, north under the wilderness. Great camping. That's great. Taking something that tonally fits into the game and seeing if we can wrap up the mechanics around it and respecting the player's time and where they are, right? Fast traveling is fine and fun as long as it's super quick, as we pointed out. But if I'm exploring in an area and I go, I know I have enough to get the bow upgrade because we tell you all of that information like we did in the last game too. But I have to like leave this place, go over here to this town, and now it's in the snow, and I'm going to come back over here. It's really sort of discordant. It really kind of breaks your immersion of exploring this cool place that I'm right here, right now. Or you can just go to that Wolfpack menu and call the camp here, and that character will come and appear at your camp. And they will show up and be like, hey, here's your bow upgrade. That is a way for people to stay in the moment and get their upgrade. Maybe cook some food and get a nice boon, and they're on their way without having to, even though our fast travel system is quick, it's about staying in the location. They can still fast travel if they like that too. It's quite nice in that way. If you don't call somebody, somebody might just appear that you had not known. There's sort of unknowns or people and surprise visitors that might show up as well. Yo, tell me, I bet you Jin's going to show up in like a vision or something. No, I don't know. We just want to know if Jin's going to show up at any point. But that is pretty cool. The fact that they're saying, you know, they're just going to be random characters that come visit that you don't even know about. Kind of like that little surprise system. The question that was asked after this, and this is what I meant when I said that the Infamous question, when they talked about Infamous, that was the next question. Would you be open to revisiting Infamous, maybe for a trilogy release or something like that? It just came out of nowhere. And then there is actually one other question here that I didn't see below it. This is the final question. What did you think of Assassin's Creed Shadows? Comparisons are going to be inevitable. Jason Connell says, as creators, you get to look at the stuff in two ways. You either see anything that comes near you and kind of freeze up, or you just get excited at the fact that the medium that you're working in is being expanded upon. And people are liking that flavor enough to where they're going to invent time to make a new game. Nate and I solely sit on the latter one. We're very, very excited about anything, film, overlap, game stuff. These things are just inevitable as creators, and you learn to embrace it. And Ubisoft makes awesome games. I've been making games for a really long time. I think it's just fun to see so many other cool games in the space. It's exciting for us. But yeah, we're going to wreck that game, and Ghost of Yotei is going to destroy Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that part. He didn't say that part. But I'm telling you, that's probably what was going through his mind. End quote. um so that was the entire interview for Game Informer, and I thought it was pretty insightful. You know, there's definitely a couple things there that we learned. Nothing mind-blowing, but just I think once again reinforces the level of excitement and also the level of passion that Sucker Punch has with creating the Ghost games. You're welcome, Michael. I'm trying. Now, the question now is we have a second interview, this time done with VGC. I'm just not sure. I don't know if it's worth reading, though, because I think that they cover the same beats. Let me see if I can find anything worthwhile. Anything new. Let me skim through it real quick. So they say, as the creators of the last game, Ghost of Tsushima, we played a ton of it. As we want to create a new game and we decided it was going to be set in Hokkaido, it only seemed fitting to also increase the way we think about the freedom of the game. What does it feel like to explore? What are your options? So it says, while Ghost of Tsushima was released to a warm critical reception and went on to be a sales hit for Sony, its release in 2020 coincided with the open world genre being in a state of stagnation. Complaints about opening a map and seeing hundreds of question marks followed every open world game, and Tsushima was no exception. The sequel takes pains to move away from the style of gameplay and more towards an exploratory, player-driven story while not diving headfirst into the From Software approach of having little to no guidance at all. Yote places a much higher emphasis on finding your own path. The thing that Jason and I love most is that moment when you're on your horse and you're looking at this big, beautiful landscape, and maybe the wind is telling you if you would like to continue the story, go that way. But if you see something out there in the corner of your eye that catches your curiosity and you say, you know what, I'm going to check that out. That moment where the game's not telling you really where to go or what to do, it's up to you. That's the most beautiful thing about open world games. While core players may welcome this approach, Ghost of Tsushima was a game that transcended the mainstream and attracted players who don't typically engage with the genre. Sucker Punch says those new players will be catered to as well. Connell told us that the length of the game will be similar to the original, but the runtime will be filled with more varied activities and will heavily depend on the player. Sucker Punch is also keen to ensure that the game's more open structure doesn't take away from the narrative. A balance that Jason Connell explains is at the core of the game's design philosophy, which we did touch upon that. See, this is why I wanted to go through the VGC interview, because they straight up confirm that the length of Ghost of Yote will be about the same as Tsushima, but there are going to be different things you can do that are more varied in between that maybe weren't there in Tsushima. And we have PlayStation Pete with a $5 super chat. And he says, Donkey Kong Bonanza, a Nintendo 10, going to Universal in 1 week. Got my DK today. Domino's 10 topping large pizza, $9.99, bro. PlayStation Pete once again informing us of the Domino's deal. But it seems like we got a lot of Donkey Kong fans here. I got to be honest, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize we had so many Donkey Kong fans. Yeah, PlayStation Pete, you're not alone. I've seen quite a few people today expressing their excitement for Donkey Kong. PlayStation Pete, I hope you have a good time when you go to Universal. Thank you for the super chat, man. Michael's still not on board with Nintendo. All right, so it says Ghost of Tsushima was released just months before the release of the PlayStation 5 as a swan song for the PS4 alongside The Last of Us Part 2. The game showed off a mastery of hardware that few managed to replicate. The game looked even better in its PS5 port that followed shortly after. Ghost of Yote is Sucker Punch's first full game designed exclusively for the PS5, and while Nate Fox and Jason Connell tell me the expected visual flair is a major focus, it's the DualSense controller that sparked the most inspiration for the team. It was such an incredible experience making Ghost of Tsushima for the PS4, and then pretty quickly seeing how the game showed up on the PS5, said Fox. The PlayStation 5 is, of course, an incredible piece of hardware, but let's face it, the controller's magnificent. I love the haptics. I love the way the touchpad works. Ghost of Yote is built from the ground up to use the PlayStation 5 and to have those lightning-fast loads and to be able to use the DualSense controller to its maximum effect. We learned a lot of lessons by seeing Ghost of Tsushima through the lens of that controller that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So it gives us a head start on how to make Yote a PS5 as PS5 friendly as possible and really to come alive through that controller, which I adore. We could not have made this game without the PS5's features, which we're very happy to be making a game exclusively targeted for this controller. The game will be PS5 Pro enhanced, but Sucker Punch isn't currently sharing those details. So once again, they're letting us know it is PS5 Pro enhanced, but they're not letting us know exactly what they're doing yet. And Nick comes in with a $5 super chat saying, Boss Treat Fund. Well, thank you so much for that, Nick. We are going to need to restock the treats. We're actually very low on treats, so really appreciate that, man. Boss will be happy. So will Luna. You think it'd be cool if something happens in Yote that leads to conduits and they take place in the same universe? Yeah, that'd be wild. That's the first time I've seen somebody talk about the possibly connecting the Infamous and Ghost universe. That would be crazy. And we have Nick with another $5 super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. And he says, and this is exactly why exclusivity matters. Yeah, man, I think the way Sony's handling it right now, I hope it's the way they continue to handle it, because I think it's the best of both worlds. I think that them allowing Sucker Punch and all of their other studios to just focus on one version of the game for the PS5, get the absolute most out of it that you can. You know, it shortens the development cycle. Just having to optimize for one piece of hardware, taking full advantage of the DualSense, stuff like this. And putting it out there exclusively for your own hardware, whether it be for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. You know, I was thinking about this more. We were talking about this yesterday, and I saw more and more people kind of asking, like, would it really be detrimental? Like would it really be such a bad thing? Truthfully, like, honestly, if Spider-Man did release on Xbox tomorrow. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, you know, I mean, I got my, I don't know, man. I wasn't planning on playing Spider-Man again. You know, and it's been like 7 years or something like that. It would have, I mean, from a PR perspective, it would, absolutely. But it's just funny to think that, like, it's funny to think that the way Sony is handling exclusivity in this kind of in-between, I think it might be the best way to go about it. Because, like, for example, when Ghost of Tsushima came out on PS4, I think that was one of the biggest reasons to buy a PS4. Like, if you didn't buy a PS4 by 2020, by the time Ghost of Tsushima came out, this might be the game to get you to do it. And then they released the director's cut for PS5, but then eventually, I think it was like literally 4 years later, it released on PC, and like it did really well on PC. It got like 77,000 concurrent players, which tells me it may have sold like, you know, 1.5 million units, maybe 2 million. And it did pretty well. And it's like, you know, the idea that people played Ghost of Tsushima on PC 4 years later, and then Ghost of Yote is coming out now in 2025, you can maybe see how there are some people that are like, maybe I will get a PS5 for Ghost of Yote. You can wait for it for PC. It will come eventually, but you could see how maybe that is, I don't know that it'll work on everybody, but it could maybe bring some people over. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was just reading some people's comments, and it's just interesting to see how there are certainly some people out there that they do value the exclusivity factor, and there are absolutely people out there that do not value it, and people who don't like it at all. I think Sony is in a unique position right now where I think they understand that there's no reason for them to be done with exclusivity and forego it. But there's also no reason why they shouldn't try to maximize player base and revenue with certain properties. You know, for example, like what we saw with Ghost of Tsushima going to PC 4 years later. I just feel like Sony is in the process of trying to get the best of both worlds. And I think it's working because, I mean, dude, I'm playing Death Stranding right now, and I'm talking to you about all these interviews with Ghost of Yote. I mean, it's starting to look like the second half of the PS5 generation is going to be, I don't know, I don't want to say it's going to be better than the second half of the PS4 generation, because that's a big mountain to climb. The second half of the PS4 generation was absolutely bonkers. But at the very least, I'm beginning to think that the second half of the PS5 generation has the potential to be just as good as the second half of the PS4 gen. And I don't know, man. I feel like I'm making progress in Death Stranding 2. I'm starting to tell that like I'm getting closer to some significant story beats occurring. Everything I'm hearing about Ghost of Yote sounds amazing. And I feel like, I don't know, then we got Sorrow's gameplay coming up. I don't know, man. It's looking pretty good. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. And Michael Werneth comes in with a super sticker. the rare super sticker saying hype. Michael's hype. I'm hype, man. I'm hyped too. I'm telling you, man, I'm just at this point in time, I feel like Sony has pretty much locked in a solid second half of 2025. DS2, Lost Soul Aside coming next month, and then Ghost of Yote to cap it off. Really got to wonder what the next state of play. We know Saros gameplay is coming, so we're getting a state of play, maybe a showcase. Really just curious to see how the remainder of this year wraps up. But currently feeling the hype. I mean, I don't think Lost Soul Aside is DOA in terms of how good it's going to be. I am worried about it. I won't lie. This is a game that's been in development for 10 years. I think it was made by like one person though. So I don't really know. I don't know what the expectations are sales-wise for it, but it is a game that's being published by Sony. Here's what's interesting about Lost Soul Aside. Speaking of exclusivity, Lost Soul Aside is the first single-player game published by Sony, as far as I'm aware, published by Sony, that's launching day and date on PC. It's not a PlayStation studio, but published by Sony. And I think that's kind of telling. I think that Sony wants to see if that will help this game. Although, and this is important to highlight, it's a Chinese-developed game. It's part of the China Hero Project. One of the things that we know is that most of the player base in China is on PC, and they buy games through Steam. So I think that's another reason why Sony decided to go day and date with that game on PC. But nonetheless, the game looks promising. That's the whole point here. You're saying the game's DOA. I think it looks good. I think like from a gameplay perspective, it looks like it has a lot of potential, and I've liked what I've seen so far. I am a little bit worried though that, yeah, it's coming out around the same time as Metal Gear, and like, I don't know, man. Like, even as somebody who is looking forward to it, there are other games that I feel like are taking a priority. But still, credit to Sony stuck with the developer, man. Sony stuck with this game. This game has been in development since 2014, and Sony hasn't given up on it. So, got to give them that credit. Let me continue here, see if there's anything else. Anything else we learn. Okay, so yeah, not too much. I think the Game Informer interview, frankly, was a little bit better than the VGC interview. But yeah. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. Today is the 5-year anniversary of Ghost of Tsushima. 5 years ago today, Ghost of Tsushima came out, and just want to take a moment to acknowledge the greatness that is Ghost of Tsushima, man. I played that game when it came out on the PS4 originally, and I kind of rushed through it. I didn't rush through it, but I beelined it, like I just played through the main story, but then I got the director's cut when it came out on PS5. I did everything. I got all the trophies. I took my good old time with that game, and I did the Legends mode, got all the trophies in the Legends mode. I did the raid. It was a fantastic game and a fantastic time. And, it's just so awesome to see that Ghost of Tsushima, it found a level of success that I feel like is really tough for new IP, games that are new IP to find. And there is a movie being made. It's being directed by the same director who did the John Wick movies. And they released new avatars today, PSN avatars, by the way. If you go check Sucker Punch's official Twitter account, they did put out some new avatars. Wow, this is really cool. Alamo Drafthouse. Check this out. I want to see if I can. I don't know if it's going to let me bring this picture up. Ghost of Yote is getting an official popcorn bucket, dude. Because Alamo Drafthouse is doing something special. They're saying This August, we're thrilled to invite film lovers and modern day Ronin alike to step into the cinematic world of honor, vengeance, and swordplay with Way of the Samurai, a curated film series inspired by the upcoming PlayStation release Ghost of Yote. From August 2nd through September 4th, select Alamo Drafthouse theaters will showcase 5 iconic samurai films that help define the genre. And they announced a Ghost of Yote popcorn bucket. Hopefully it'll let me bring the image up. Let me see. Just give me one moment. Okay, so it's not letting me bring the image up directly, so I will actually, hold on. Let me open a new tab and see if it'll just let me do a screen capture for you guys so I can show you real quick. Because it's just funny, dude. It's so random. Where is it? Boom. There it is. The Ghost of Yote popcorn bucket. I love how it has a strap on it, dude. That is pretty epic. Got the PlayStation logo on top. So again, that's going to be at the Alamo Drafthouse. I don't think there's one around me, but they're going to be doing like a special series of screenings for samurai movies that inspired Ghost of Yote, and you can apparently get this popcorn bucket. So good stuff, man. Very random. I was not expecting that. Definitely something that kind of came out of left field there. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's one more thing I'll bring up too in regards to Sucker Punch. Okay, so yeah, let me just show you here's the post about Ghost of Tsushima. They say happy 5th anniversary to Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you so much to our amazing community that continues to show their love and support for the game. It's been an honor to still see such love 5 years later. We'd love to hear what makes Ghost of Tsushima special to you and see your favorite shot you captured in game. And they have the codes here, so you can get these PSN avatars. So very cool to see them celebrating the 5-year anniversary. Why is it so flat and gray? Let me scroll down a little bit so you can get the codes there. Leave it up for a moment. Hand-drawn avatars. And don't forget, there is a Ghost of Tsushima Legends. So we're getting a Ghost of Tsushima movie, and we're getting a Ghost of Tsushima Legends anime. So these are two things that are still in the works. So what's interesting is that even though they, for now, seemingly have moved on from Jin, does anybody kind of wonder if they will go back to Jin after Yote? I do wonder, because, it seems like he's still going to be very prevalent in the different forms of media, at least with the movie. The movie's going to be big. But yeah, the Legends anime is going to be pretty huge too. Oh, and there's one other thing. One other thing I forgot to show you. Hold on. They're doing this too. So if you're into like U2s or whatever, that's pretty cool. I like that. I don't know. I stopped buying stuff like this and collecting stuff like this, but so is this like, actually, I don't know. This does look kind of cool. This is like a little statue. It looks like. I thought it was like an action figure or something at first. There you go. Love to see the Ghost of Tsushima love. It's one of my favorite games ever, man. Really loved it. they tease something with Jin in the Amazon secret level. Shems, you're heading out. Thanks for hanging out for a little while, man. Garrett, you think they shouldn't go back to Jin? I don't think they need to, but I could maybe like if they release the Ghost of Tsushima movie and it does really well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what to expect after Yote. I mean, it's early to be talking about it because Yote isn't even out yet, but I do wonder if they're just going to do like an anthology thing. That seems to be what they're going for. But then again, they did just say that they would like to work on Infamous again, so maybe they'll take a break from the Ghost series. Like, what if they did something where it's like, okay, we got Ghost of Tsushima, then we do Ghost of Yote, and then maybe our next game is a PS6 game. It's a return to Infamous. Then after that, we do Ghost of Tsushima 2, where we're going to continue. Maybe they could do like a back and forth thing where they continue the story with Jin and then they continue the story with Yote. Because what's interesting is they're not. One of the things that I find interesting about Sucker Punch is they're not really talking about Jin, which I understand why, but I'm saying like they're not really. As if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I've been following Ghost of Yote pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like they've confirmed that they're done with Jin, unless I'm wrong about that. Am I wrong about that? Like I don't recall. I'm trying to remember when it was first announced. I don't recall them saying like we are like just done with Jin. I think they just made it clear that this is 300 years in the future. You know, we've moved forward, but, and I guess that makes sense because like, why would they? I don't think they would shut that door, you know. But at the same time, if they are truly done with Jin, where it's just like this is it, and going forward, it's just going to be a new character and a new story every time. I'm totally fine with that. It's just I think Jin will always be kind of special because, you know, he's the first main protagonist of a new IP. Michael, you're off to play Rocket League. Well, thanks for hanging out, man. I do appreciate it. Enjoy your game time. Hope to see you back in the next stream. Maybe they could connect the two stories the way that Assassin's Creed connected 1 and 2 with AC Revelations. That would be interesting. Ghost of Infamous. Sucker Punch is also known for working on Sly Cooper. I seem to recall you saying Jin's story was done, or were you guessing? I think I was guessing, basically. Well, I mean, because it is pretty complete overall, you know? It does seem to be pretty complete, but Jin is such a, I guess what I'm saying is like, we only got one journey with him and one DLC. I could see how there's like, I guess what I'm saying is if they wanted to do more with Jin, I think they definitely could. But if they didn't want to do any more with Jin, I think that would be good too, where it's like, you know, we did a lot with him. We may have only done one thing with him, but it was a big thing and it was a lot. And he's like Altair. Thinking, what if Yote is like Miles Morales? Is what it is to Spider-Man. You go back to Tsushima. I don't know, man. I was saying earlier in the stream that where you're going to be exploring in Yote, you're exploring Hokkaido. It's like 50 times bigger than Tsushima. Let me see if I can find a picture comparison. So Tsushima Island and Hokkaido are both parts of Japan, but they differ significantly in size, population, and historical context. Tsushima is a relatively small island, while Hokkaido is the second largest northernmost main island of Japan. Hokkaido is far more developed and populated than Tsushima. So it says Tsushima, a relatively small island with a surface area of 708 square kilometers, compared to Hokkaido, which is 83,423 square kilometers. So 708 square kilometers compared to 83,400 square kilometers. That's how much bigger Hokkaido is than Tsushima. So I don't know how that's going to translate in the game, but it should ultimately translate to this is going to be a lot bigger. Like the area to explore is going to be way bigger than Tsushima. And I don't want to get too I don't want to focus on this too much though, because I noticed they're not really talking about that. And it makes me think, what if they decided not to increase the overall size of the map? Like, what if they're not being true to life with it? Where Tsushima in the game, the island of Tsushima in the game was very big. And it felt massive. So what if, like, rather than just try to scale up to match Hokkaido, they're going to kind of keep it on a similar scale? I don't know how true to life it's going to be. But all I know is that in real life, Hokkaido is... I mean, geez, man. Like, honestly, Hokkaido seems to be 83 times bigger than Tsushima. 83 times. 83, 84 times, roughly. That's crazy. I don't know that they're going to be able to scale up to match that. That would be ridiculous. But I could see Hokkaido in terms of, like, the actual how it translates in the game. I could see it being twice as large. Maybe 3 times as large if they really pump it up. You hope it's not so big that it feels empty. I mean, they're definitely going to be like sprawling landscapes and stuff. There will be some empty areas for sure, but I get what you're saying. You want stuff to fill in the in-between. MVG, is Ghost 3 the last Samurai / Ghost Story? Or do you think they'd ever bring it to modern age? World War II Ghost Story. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. That's really taking things to another level. I'm not sure. I'm positive that Sucker Punch has probably had numerous discussions and meetings about the future of this series and like how far they want to take it, you know, where it could go. There's probably a bunch of stuff that they're that are on their like planning boards and stuff that are similar to what you're saying, pushing Polygon stuff. That's like, oh, what if we went like modern day or like World War II or something like that? That'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. Did you see that Yote removed the stance mechanics? So my understanding is that they replaced the stance mechanics with new weapons. So if you play Ghost of Tsushima, you have 4 different stances that makes the katana, one weapon, feel like 4 different weapons. In Yote, rather than having 4 or 5 different stances, they're just going to give you 4 or 5 different completely different playing weapons. So I don't think that they removed the stances. It just seems like they've basically been replaced, which makes sense. Will it feel as good? We'll find out soon enough. I would think it would feel better because I feel like it's much more difficult to make one weapon feel different with 4 different stances than it is to, you know, make different weapons feel different. Like different weapons are probably much easier to make feel really, really unique. New weapons with different styles and attacks. You can disarm enemies with their weapons. Yeah, I did beat Rise of the Ronin. More improvisational. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm liking everything I'm hearing about Ghost of Yotei so far. Weapons with stances, just play Rise. Yeah, Rise of the Ronin went crazy with it. If you want a game that, I mean, goes crazy with the amount of weapons and the amount of stance. I mean, to be honest, Rise of the Ronin was a bit overwhelming. But I could also appreciate the depth where they had so much on offer. so many weapons, so many stances and play styles. It's like, geez, man. If there's one, you could probably make some complaints about Rise of the Ronin, but you can't complain that there wasn't a great variety. There absolutely was. Rise of the Ronin had 3 full maps, bro. Rise of the Ronin was a big game. Yeah, I feel like that game was kind of underrated and maybe looked down upon somewhat due to the graphical fidelity not being that great. It still kind of looked like a PS4 game or like a last gen game. It, graphically and visually, it wasn't that impressive, but it was a really good game. Well, we do have a couple of other topics to discuss here today, guys. We're going to shift gears, and I want to read this report to you about GTA 6. Grand Theft Auto 6 is expected, to be a record-shattering game that will generate over $7 billion in revenue within its first 60 days or 2 months of availability. In a new job post on LinkedIn, Josh Chapman, managing partner at Convoy, an investment firm focusing on the video game and interactive entertainment industry, shared some predictions on the 6th entry in the series by Rockstar Games, confirming that the firm predicts that the game will generate $7.6 billion in revenue in the first 60 days of availability, and Take-Two Interactive will break even on the $2 billion investment game within 30 days of release. Grand Theft Auto 6 is also expected to be a record-shattering game in terms of copies sold and revenue generated, with almost every period of time, player count, and viewership. Long before we knew GTA 6 would come out, many had predicted that it would be the biggest entertainment launch of all time. So it will be very interesting to see if it indeed will break these records. But it is predicted that this game is going to sell GTA 6. Get this. This firm is predicting that GTA 6 is going to sell 85 million units within 2 months, within 60 days. 85 million units. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very possible. It's extremely bullish. I mean, that 85 million units that's kind of mind-boggling. In 2 months, that is mind-boggling. But it's GTA 6, man. We've never seen anything like this. I think they could do it. Like, there's even maybe this is crazy talk, but it's like I could see it doing more. GTA 5 was the second top downloaded game last month, dude, on PlayStation. Like, this is no joke. You doubt it will hit that mark? I mean, 85 million units in 2 months. What are we thinking first week? Like, are we looking at 10 to 15 million in the first week? Are we looking at 20 million in the first week? I don't know how you gauge this. I don't know how you measure this. Pre-orders haven't opened yet. I think pre-orders are going to tell us a lot. 30 million in 1 week? Oh my God. Well, I do firmly believe that GTA 6 is going to shatter every record ever. Pre-orders are probably going to break records, but once it actually launches, I'm really curious to see what happens the day of launch, dude. Like, I genuinely have to wonder, like, do PlayStation servers like shut down or something or break? Server crash in the first week. That's exactly what I was thinking, Shadowlink. Like, I'm not talking about GTA Online. I'm talking about just literally too many people flooding Sony's PSN servers and Xbox's servers. I mean, they're going to have to really be prepared, man. We might see something truly unprecedented when this game launches, but the expectations for GTA 6, as I said in my title, are beyond wild. I mean, we are looking at 85 million units sold in 2 months. That's totally unheard of, man. It's completely unheard of. Oh, guys, hold on one sec. I'll be right back. I had to get a drink. Lifetime 380 million. I mean, I feel like it's impossible to predict, man. Omen says he's heading out. He needs to get his gaming quota for the day. Happy Bonanza Day to everyone. You're all legends. Well, enjoy yourself, Omen. Thank you so much for dropping some support today. Very much appreciate it. I'll be doing some more gaming later on too. Yeah, I want to get more time in with Death Stranding, and yeah, I'll think about opening that PO box at some point. Have one of you guys send me a Switch too, or Mrs. MBG, I should say. Pre-orders 10 million in the first week. Will GTA Online be there day one? It's a great question. I mean, we know there's going to be a new iteration, a new version of GTA Online, but you know why I think it could be there day one? I mean, you're saying no chance. The reason why I think it could be there day one is because they want to maximize the day one revenue. And it's like, dude, having shark cards day one is like, oh man. Perfect Image, you don't think so? Silent Spartan is asking, did you see the new Mortal Kombat movie trailer? I was actually going to be reacting to it at the end of today's stream. People were telling me about it. I had some people say it looks terrible. I had others say it looks pretty good. I'll have to see it for myself. I think of the original Mortal Kombat movie. When I didn't see the last one that came out, and I don't know if this is a direct sequel to that or not. But when I think of the Mortal Kombat movies, I think of the 1995 film. I grew up watching that one. By the way, is this new Mortal Kombat movie, is this actually a sequel to the last one? Or is this just kind of rebooting it again? Hold on, I'm getting a weird notification here. That's true, GTA 5 is still going. All right, Lady Gamer. Thanks for hanging out. Good moderating today. Keep up the good work. Oh, Ray, you're saying this is a direct sequel to the last one. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, so I guess that means I would definitely have to watch the last one. Oh, is it? My bad. Sorry, Eternal. I didn't know that. You're saying it's literally called Mortal Kombat 2. I did not know that. Well, that would explain it, wouldn't it? Is it a sequel? Huh? Mortal Kombat 2, is it a sequel? You want to tell me right now if it's a sequel? Omen says, let's go bananas. My bad. I've just been seeing pictures of it popping up and people reacting to it. I am curious how, I mean, Johnny Cage, I feel like, has always been a good character in Mortal Kombat. And I feel like in the more recent Mortal Kombat games, I liked his portrayal. So I'm curious to see how Carl Urban does. It depends on your tolerance of cheese. Okay. Interesting. The first one wasn't even about Mortal Kombat, so you really don't need to watch it. Yeah, I heard the reviews of the first Mortal Kombat movie that came out a couple years ago were kind of mixed. I've always liked Mortal Kombat. For me, I know like Mortal Kombat, it's such an old series. It goes back to like I mean, God, the early 90s and the arcades. But for me, Mortal Kombat really started with it was like during the PlayStation 2 heyday, where like you got Mortal Kombat Deception, you got Armageddon. What was the other one? Not Shaolin Monks. There was Deadly Alliance. That's the other one I'm thinking. So you had Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat Deception. They did Shaolin Monks. I never really played Shaolin Monks. Heard it was great. But then Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and then I played the more modern Mortal Kombat games that came after that for the PS3, the 360. I did play Mortal Kombat 1 most recently, and like I said, I only have one more trophy I need to get the platinum in that game, but it's tied to like an in-game event that only happens sporadically. But I've always liked Mortal Kombat. I've never got really crazy with it. I never got really that good at it. The first was good. Kano kind of steals the movie. It has Katana. That's all I care about. You would watch the first for the Sub-Zero and Scorpion storyline. Those parts were good. MBG, a bit off topic, but if PlayStation got the Batman license, what studio would you like to see develop it? Oh, God. I don't know. I don't know, man. What? I mean, Insomniac's like, that's the first go-to, and maybe that is the most trusted studio. The only reason I would question that is because it's like, well, will they be able to balance doing Spider-Man and Wolverine and Batman? I mean, that's a lot. I mean, Naughty Dog, I don't know about maybe. Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, maybe Sucker Punch could do a good Batman game. That'd be an interesting one to see. I mean, they have experience with open world. Yeah, I mean, you probably have to, I think you'd have to give it to Insomniac, though. Because, like, Insomniac is proven. They know how to make a Housemarque Batman game. I would be a little bit nervous about that. I'm not sure. Like, Housemarque's good at shooters, so I don't know. Yeah, I'd be worried. I don't know that they'd be a good fit for a Batman game. Guerrilla Games, maybe. You know, they know how to make a big open world. Gadgets, different type of gadgets. But melee combat, I feel like in order, Santa Monica, I don't know. I think Santa Monica could nail the feel of combat. I don't know though. I mean, what we know is that the studio most of you know Rocksteady, but Rocksteady, they're known for the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games. They're apparently making another Batman game. They've decided to go back to the basics. Go back to what actually made them the studio that they are. What made them a good studio, or really brought them up as a top tier studio, I should say. And they really messed up with Kill the Justice League. But apparently they're in the process of developing a new Batman game. So, I think that's good. They're the Batman experts. I think they should be making another single-player Batman game. Apparently, Sony may actually be trying to acquire WB's gaming studios. And so there is a chance, if that rumor turns out to be true and Sony does make it happen, it would be a couple years from now. But whatever this new Batman game is, that's clearly going to be a PlayStation 6 game by the time it comes out. Sony could be in charge of it. I don't know. That would be an interesting one, pushing polygons. That would be a very interesting one. That would be very unexpected. I don't know how people would feel about that. Yep. There are rumors that apparently the Batman game that Rocksteady is developing right now, it may be a Batman Beyond game. People have been asking for that for years, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm fine with whatever, to be honest. I'm fine with whatever type of Batman game they want to make. Just please, God, make sure it's single player. You could have co-op if you want, a little bit of co-op maybe, but really focus on the single player. I think that Rocksteady, they're in a tough place right now. They're a studio that really lost their way, mismanaged. They lost too much of their key talent. I don't know if they still are able to make a top tier Batman game because they lost so many people, but I don't know. I'll be rooting for them. You know, go back, make a single player Batman game. That's your best shot of success. Kojima making a Batman game. Oh yeah. I could only imagine what that would look like. Sense, you're saying you would give it to Santa Monica. Well, Santa Monica is an extremely talented studio. I think that, like, I do think they could make, if they were given the Batman license and they wanted to make a Batman game, I think they could make a great Batman game. Santa Monica is one of those studios that I think they could probably make a great game no matter what they choose to do. I mean, they're like an S tier studio. But it'll probably be a while till we see this new Batman game. WB Games, WB in general seems to be going through a lot of turmoil. WB Games, they've been going through some serious turmoil. So I don't know that I'm expecting to hear from Rocksteady until maybe like I could see this Batman game being revealed maybe at the PlayStation 6 event in a couple years or something like that. Josh, you're saying Ben could do it? Well, I mean, they have experience with open world. Sucker Punch is the way. Yeah, they did a co-op Batman game. What was it? Gotham Knights. I did play that. I think I platinumed that, actually. It was annoying that it was locked at 30 frames, but it was kind of fun. But yeah, it got really, like, I don't know. It wasn't as bad as people made it sound from what I remember playing it, but it did kind of, it felt like one of those games where it's like it was just checking the boxes in a way. So yeah, I understand, especially the 30 FPS. I didn't understand that. I'm like, I don't understand why this game is locked at 30. It was a bit slower paced, yeah. But people, I will tell you this. It seems pretty clear to me that maybe this is a hot take, I don't know, but Gotham Knights seemed like a better game than Kill the Justice League. Kill the Justice League just seemed bad. I didn't play it, but I had no interest in that game, dude. I'm like, it's a shooter. It's a looter shooter, seemingly. What? Like, I was so confused with everything I saw, man. You pray for Bend. Some of my favorite games come from that studio. Yeah, I'm very nervous about the future of Sony Bend, man. So they got to do something. I feel like they dropped the ball, them and Sony, for the last like 5 years. They got to rally. They got to rally around the studio, man, and they have to. I mean, you know how I feel. I don't want to just keep repeating myself, but they got to make a Days Gone 2. If they don't do that, they got to make a single player new IP, and they got to, I don't know. They got to bring out something good, man. You think they'll be fine? Guy Gravity? I mean, yeah, my big fear is like there's no possible chance that they would actually try to pitch another live service game, right? Because, like, no. They need to go back to single player, I think. We have Nick with a $10 super chat, and he says, this is why I have major issues with how Arkham Knight ended. They limited themselves and how they can even return back to the Arkham franchise. Hated that ending. Yeah, I mean, I do wonder if with this new Batman game, like there were rumors that it's going to be a remake. I don't know if that's true or not. That's unconfirmed, but there were rumors that it's like going to be like an Arkham Asylum remake. But I don't know that I mean, that would be the safest thing to do, or maybe like a Arkham City remake or something like that. That would be the ultimate safest thing to do, but I mean, I just think, like, why not start a new trilogy? You know what I mean? They could start a new trilogy. Maybe it doesn't have to be connected to the Arkham universe. It could just basically be we're starting over. I know that some people would be a little bit upset about that. Some people would be a bit disappointed, but yeah, when you think about how Arkham Knight ended, I mean, they are very limited in that sense, but I'm just glad Rocksteady didn't close, dude, because Rocksteady, God, man, the development cycle with some AAA studios over the last like decade has just been so tumultuous where it's like Rocksteady, I feel like they were one of the biggest, most prolific studios that actually is like the closest to being shut down, where they lost their founders, they had mass layoffs, Kill the Justice League was a mega flop, and it's like, bro, come on, man. What are you guys doing? Yeah, Eternal. I remember that. People were debating that. Very hard to cast Batman with Kevin Conroy passing away. Agreed. Yeah, to me, he is the voice of Batman. But you know, they are gonna have no choice now but to move on without him. And I wonder, yeah, if they do another Batman game where it's like not like if it's actually Bruce Wayne, if it's not like a Batman Beyond thing, I do wonder who they would get to voice Bruce. You think most people won't even notice a recast? That makes me kind of sad if true, though. Because, yeah, I grew up watching the Batman animated series, and yeah, his voice, to me, like that, he is the voice of Batman. He always will be. You know, I've heard other voice actors, you know, do Batman, and they've always done a good job. But to me, Kevin Conroy is like, yeah, he is Batman, dude. If they need a new Batman voice actor, going with Batman Beyond is a good choice. Yeah, I agree with that. It'd be much easier to go with a new voice. Unknown, you're saying you didn't know Troy Baker voiced Joker in Arkham Origins? Yeah, I remember hearing about that casting. It was pretty funny. Um, Eternal, you're saying same reason Joker was played by Mark Hamill for so long. It's tough. Yeah, I mean, these characters that you grow up with that are being voiced by certain people, it's like, you know they're not going to be able to voice these characters forever, right? Like it's just not possible. But you grow up, not even just growing up, but you go so many years where it's like that is the voice. That is the voice. It's like me with Snake. So, you know, Snake and Big Boss, that's David Hayter, man. Like I remember when I played Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, I just could not adjust to Kiefer Sutherland. Like I recognize Kiefer Sutherland's voice, and I'm like, he sounds cool. And I like the sound of his voice, but I'm like, but that's not, he's not Snake, you know? So I remember when I found out David Hayter wasn't going to be in MGS5, I was devastated, bro. I was like, there's no way. I was angry at Kojima. I'm like, how could you do this to me? I remember, like, dude, people lost their minds when David Hayter got replaced. And you could tell David Hayter was, you could tell he was caught off guard. And he was, like, kind of upset. And I'm like, yeah, this is crazy, man. That was one of those rare moments. That was a Kojima L, in my opinion. I'm like, Kojima, bro. Don't get me wrong. Like, Kiefer Sutherland's cool. And he has a really cool voice. Yeah, there is a reason. There is a reason for it in the story. But what really messed me up, like, spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. All right, I'm giving you a spoiler warning. In the game, it's explained that, like, you are basically Big Boss's doppelganger. You know, like, when you play Ground Zeroes, which occurs before Phantom Pain, you are playing as the real Big Boss. But your voice, it's Kiefer Sutherland's voice. Now, I understand that in the story, they couldn't do it this way because it would spoil it immediately. But, like, you know, when you play the Phantom Pain, you wake up in the hospital, coma 9 years later. Like, you were the medic that was on the helicopter with Big Boss. Big Boss survived, and basically they decided to make you the doppelganger. I forget what the reason was. It was so like Big Boss could build his base. Like, looking back on it, it's kind of a stupid story in a way, where it's like Big Boss is building the real base with the real Metal Gear. You're just a fake. Like, you're a front. You know, like, basically you're the distraction. You're building Diamond Dogs. You're not actually Big Boss. You're his doppelganger. And you're basically garnering all of the attention, while the real Big Boss is secretly doing the real shit behind the scenes. It's a little bit out there. It's like, that's the big revelation at the end of the game when you get the cassette tape, and it's the real Big Boss telling you all this stuff on the cassette tape, and you're looking in the mirror. I mean, yeah, that's about as a Kojima twist as it'll get. I don't think it really landed that well. It was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it really kind of bothered me that, like, but dude, this is, and the whole thing was Kojima was like, you, the player, like, you're Big Boss. The player is Big Boss, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, what's bro talking about right now? But man, Phantom Pain, it makes me really sad that Kojima will never make another Metal Gear game again, because the one thing about Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, that gameplay was truly superb, man. That gameplay was on another level. And I think Kojima he was on the verge, if maybe he did perfect it, but he was at that point where, like, this is it. Like, you are perfecting the stealth action espionage genre, the tactical espionage action genre that you pioneered. Like, you are perfecting it. And I feel like the fact that the game was rushed and didn't get the finished development, I don't know. It would have been interesting to see what, like, basically in a world where Kojima didn't go to make Death Stranding, but instead kept making Metal Gear, it would have been really interesting to see what direction he would have went in. Yeah, we got Fizzant coming up. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess that will be the closest thing. I do wonder if Fizzant will, I mean, it has to be an open world game, right? Well, it's not, yeah, I guess MGS5 wasn't rushed, but it was like, Konami was like, you got to be effing kidding me, man. Like, bro, it's been like 7 years. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why are we paying this much money to Kiefer Sutherland? Where's David? Where's Mr. Hater? Nick, you're saying you need a Solid Snake game with MGS5 gameplay? Well, it'll be very interesting to see how MGS3 does. Eternal, you're saying the other part that irks me about MGS5 is a lot of the plot details and character development is in studio audio logs, excuse me. You can't leave the main menu to play as you listen. Yeah. So my understanding is that Kojima basically took in a lot of the criticism, or he took a lot of criticism to heart, where Metal Gear Solid 4 had cutscenes everywhere. Like, dude, Metal Gear Solid 4, half of that game is a cutscene, which I love. I loved it. I'm like, this is incredible. But it had a ton of gameplay as well, and it had amazing gameplay. Excuse me. But people really complained about the cutscenes in MGS4. I think, like, the ending cutscene for MGS4 is like an hour and a half long or some crazy shit like that, where I do think he took it too far with the fourth game. But as a fan, I loved it. I understand why he took, some of that criticism to heart, but you could tell when he was making MGS5, and I think he did say this in interviews where he's like, I want to be able to try to tell the story without having so many cutscenes. And that's what the audio logs were, basically. And yeah, I do feel like that was kind of, you could, like, I understand why Kojima did it, but it felt like it took a little bit away from what made, because Metal Gear Solid, it's like the cutscenes, man. Oh, hello, Leia. Jeez. Clay, you want some treats? He carried that over to Death Stranding. Here you go, Leia. Forgot to give her treats. Yeah, dude. The cutscenes... Boss, you already got some, dude. Boss, you already got your treats. The cutscenes in 4... I mean, dude, like... Metal Gear Solid 4 to me is one of the closest things to a perfect game. And I know for a lot of people, it's not. Like, a lot of people are like, MGS4 is off its rocker. And it's like, it's insane. But the beauty of MGS4 to me is it was Kojima's real attempt. He's like, I'm going to close this thing out. I'm going to give you the answer to every question. Every question. We're going to answer it. And is it going to be ridiculous? Yes. Are you going to love it? I hope so. But I'm going to do it. It's going to be fan service to the nth degree. And I loved it. I remember my expectations going into MGS4 were next level. Like, I was certain this game was going to disappoint me. I was certain that my expectations for MGS4 were too high. And it was the first time I think I can ever recall being like, the hype level was unhealthy. It was just straight up unhealthy. It's like, this isn't good, man. But I'll never forget how I felt completing MGS4, where I was like, I was just like looking around, I'm like, this is it. I'm like, I knew in that moment, like, this is the peak. I think I was 14 years old. I completed that game, watching the final cutscene. You know, we got Big Boss lying on the tombstone. This is good, isn't it? And then you got like the final epilogue, you know, and the Snake's journey, Solid Snake's journey is done. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, I think this is the greatest thing I ever played. And to this day, I still don't know that I played a game that has surpassed MGS4. And I, you know, I'm not trying to be that person that's like, I know it's like I'm glazing MGS4 too much, but it's just, it was the perfect game at the perfect time for me. And I remember later on, years later, like when I started perusing the internet more, I saw more people being like, MGS4 sucks, or like MGS4 is all over the place, or it's whatever. And I'm like, y'all crazy, man. Like, I don't care what you think. To me, this is the greatest thing I ever experienced. Always will be. Navidzer, you feel the same way, bro? I love to hear it. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Konami does with MGS4, because, dude, it's been so many years since I played that game, and God, if they bring it to PS5, I'm doing it. MBG's MGS4 is my Last of Us 2. Dude, yeah, the fight with Liquid, he gives you a little kiss on the cheek. I loved how insane it got. Like, when you're in the moment, dude, okay, can we talk about this for a minute? Can we talk about the scene in Metal Gear Solid 4 when Snake is crawling through the hallway with the microwaves, and there's like the screen, like Kojima just said F it. He cut the screen in half. On the bottom, you have a QTE where old Snake is crawling through the microwave tunnel, slowly dying. And above it, you have everything else that's going on with all the other characters. And you're on the brink. And the greatest troll, dude, no joke. I remember when I was playing that, the cutscene where he's crawling through the microwave hallway is so long. It's so long. And it's like you have to tap triangle the whole time. I like, my arm felt like it was going to fall off, because I was like, I just got to keep tapping triangle. I can keep tapping it. It was like for 10 minutes straight. Apparently, and years later, I found out you didn't actually have to do that. And I was just like, he just trolled you like that. You just troll. You don't have to do it. The scene will just play if you don't keep tapping triangle. I'm like, what is wrong with this man? But I kind of love it. Looking back on it, I kind of love it. That's a great troll, dude. Because the thing is, you get so absorbed in the moment, you're like, I can't fail. I can't fail. Like, everything's riding on me tapping triangle and not stopping. And it's like, does bro know? That's good stuff, man. Bro, why are you in the chat saying I'm delusional? Come on, man. The 3-minute MGS3 ladder climb. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous too. But it's very memorable. You remember this stuff. Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. Wouldn't that scene be so much cooler with a guitar solo? No spoilers. No spoilers. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, GOAT game, in my opinion. Really, really can't wait to see. Konami's clearly going to do something with it. It's clearly going to make its way to current gen consoles. And I'll be here day one for it, man. But in the meantime, we have MGS3. I do have I think some of you guys remember, I have the old Snake frame. It's not like a poster. I don't know what you would call it, a canvas. I have an old Snake canvas. I would hang it up here, but I got to find an appropriate spot for it where it can fit and, not ruin the foam on the walls. You think everything about MGS is overrated except the gameplay? I don't agree with that. Look, do I think some things in general in gaming are overrated? Maybe. I think what we're really identifying is the emotional attachment. And the emotional attachment comes from the emotions that it evokes. Like, there are definitely things that I look at with the Metal Gear series where, like, yeah, it's like, okay, that's kind of cringe. That's kind of ridiculous. That's kind of not, like, totally nonsensical. Like, me and my friend the other day were making a joke where we're like, Kojima's in a room, with his team. He's like, all right, we're going to have this character and he's just going to shit his pants. Okay, yeah. And he's going to be a main character. Okay, and every scene he's in, every time he appears in this game, he's going to be shitting himself. Because he didn't get he didn't take the shots. He didn't take the nanomachine vaccines. And in fact, we're even going to have this whole cutscene where he shits in a barrel. And it's just like, oh, okay, we're gonna earnestly do this. And oh, by the way, that guy who's shitting himself constantly, who can't stop defecating in his pants, he's the one that's going to end up with Meryl. I mean, does it get any better? I don't think so. Oh, and fun fact, dude, listen, Metal Gear Online 2 that shipped with Metal Gear Solid 4, there was a DLC pack you could buy where you could play, so it was like 6v6 modes, TDM or something, and one player on each team, one player got to play as Meryl, and the other player got to play as Johnny, who's Johnny's the character that shits himself. And there was a mechanic, dude, in multiplayer where if you know what? Hold on. I don't even think I can explain this to you. I'm just gonna, I think, have to show it to you. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So this is, I'm going to bring it up on screen. See if it'll let me. Gotta love what I typed there. MGO. Oh, I didn't spell Johnny right. Johnny pooping. What's going on with MBG's YouTube search, man? What's going on with MBG's YouTube search? What's this guy searching? Although, why is it, it's like broken though and won't let me expand it. Shit. What is MBG doing? He's losing it, man. Why won't it let me expand it? I'm getting annoyed. There we go. There we go. There we go. We're getting it done now. So this is Metal Gear Online 2 on the PS3. Metal Gear Solid 4 Online MGO2 John Mode. I don't know what this means. I don't know if this means he's gonna... Is he gonna do the thing? Oh, yep.
I can't hold it any longer.
This is peak. How could you say this is overrated? How could you say it's overrated when you go on a kill streak and your reward is you get to shit yourself?
Ta-da!
Dude. That's crazy. I miss this game, man. Well, I think you guys get the point. Cinema. Peak cinema, bro. What in tarnation? You can always buy a PS3. This is what's on Kojima's USB. Hold on, I need to see real quick if hold on.
Drop your weapon! Drop your weapon!
All right. Here.
Easy now. Don't move!
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
Careful, I'm no rookie. I'm a 10-year vet.
How the hell did you ever survive 10 years?
Don't move! CQC. Real big boss, huh?
Man, I just gotta say, you have to truly appreciate how, if you, for those who don't know, I think anybody who's played the Metal Gear Solid series, though, you do know, when he was pressing L1 and it was showing the flashbacks to Metal Gear Solid 1, you have to truly appreciate that what was just supposed to be a literal joke character named Johnny Sasaki in MGS1. Yeah, he is literally a 10-year vet, man. Like, in the first game, he's just a comedic, random, like, almost like Easter egg, who's just constantly shitting himself. And Kojima was like dead serious. We're writing this guy into this game, and he's going to be a main character.
Military.
And you must be the inspector sent by the UN. Akiba!
Commander! Sorry.
This is Rat Patrol Team 01. We're with the CID. One of the bodies
Oh,
investigating
Snake's just
PLC
looking at him like,
activity.
you good, bro?
First hounds, now rats. Here, you can have this back. What is your problem? You okay? Stomach pains? Diarrhea?
I mean, it really is peak, man. Like, holy shit. There's one more. There's just one more we got to see, though. It's shorter. Hold on.
Who's there?
Go away! I'm not done yet!
Stop!
No!
Stop right there!
No!
Get back here!
This is actually real, yeah. Dude, this is for anybody who hasn't played this is the best. This is the best introduction to MGS4. Oh, I don't actually know. Is that Yuri? It does sound like him. I wonder what Kojima's inspiration for this was. Oh my god, what is that thumbnail with Liquid, bro? What is that thumbnail with Liquid and Meryl tied up? What's going on? Good times, dude. Yeah, so basically what we're trying to say here is MGS4 is the greatest video game ever created. What was Kojima's inspiration for this? Probably somebody he worked with or something. Good shit, though, man. All right. Let me put this back here. It was Dean Schofield. Okay. It does sound a lot like Yuri, though. It was like Spider-Man. Good times. Good times. But yeah, you know what, guys? I think this might be a good place to wrap today's stream up. I see we're just about to hit the 3-hour mark. we did cover all the topics that I wanted to cover today. We were mainly talking about Ghost of Yotei, talking about Infamous being hinted at, talk a little bit about GTA 6. Didn't talk about that as much as I thought we would, but still did cover it. And ended it with some Johnny Sasaki shitting himself in MGS4. Everything is as it should be. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm like, wasn't I supposed to react to something else? The Mortal Kombat trailer. My bad. Yeah, I do want to check that out. Hold on. So we're not going to end it just yet. Let me bring that back up. Mortal Kombat. Oh, it's a long trailer. So I do have to ask you guys real quick, because I don't want anything bad to happen. It says it's rated R, strong, bloody violence, and gore and language. How? Oh, this is the Red Band trailer. I might just watch the regular one. No. And bro, Silent Spartan. Yo, no way. I'm over here like looking up these trailers and seeing like, wait, which one should I watch? He drops 50 memberships for you guys. Silent Spartan coming in again at the end of the stream, dropping 50 more membership gifts. Holy shit! I'm gonna have to get a Johnny Sasaki. No, I can't do that to you, Silent Spartan. For a second, I was gonna say I gotta get the Johnny Sasaki soundbite for you, but I feel like that might just I don't know. I can't do you dirty like that. You need to have a cooler one. Is there a specific soundbite you would want, by the way, Silent Spartan? I don't know if I ever asked you or not. But he comes in, he drops 50 more memberships, bringing us to over 100 on the day. Absolutely incredible. Silent Spartan, thank you again so much, man. If you received a membership gift, please go check out the latest members lounge we did. You're good with the crazy. Oh, yeah, I did ask you that. You're good with the Crazy Arnold. Yeah, maybe I should program that soundbite to do extended Crazy Arnold, because I have it set to 3 seconds. 10 bomb, get like a 10-second Crazy Arnold going. But thank you so much, man. We're now sitting at 101 members, which is crazy. And I'm going to have to give Leia some catnip before we watch that Mortal Kombat trailer. Come on, Leia. Or I guess Boss could have it too. Boss, do you really need catnip on top of the treats? Shadowlink says this dude is a baller. Oh, here we go. There you go, Leia. Enjoy. Yeah, she's going to have a good she knows now. Leia's conditioned with the catnip. She knows. But yeah, thank you so much, Silent Spartan. Dude, you've been seriously doing crazy work for the channel here and the community. And I don't even know what to say about it anymore. It's absolutely incredible to see. We were already doing well today, and he comes in and he says we're taking it to another level. So I really appreciate that, Spartan. I'm gonna put that up on the. So we're at 101 now. Somehow went past 100. I'll have to do some reps too, by the way. How you guys at? So that's what we'll do. We'll do some Mortal Kombat. Should I do reps while I'm watching the Mortal Kombat trailer? That'd be a different one. Oh man, Leia's really having a good time over there. So I was going to ask you guys, they have the Red Band trailer. They have the Red Band trailer, and I'm just not sure how bad it really is, because like YouTube is finicky sometimes, man. And Shadowlink comes in and drops 10 more member gifts for you guys. Shadowlink is inspired. He's inspired by Silent Spartan. And it's funny because both of you guys, sometimes I get you guys confused when I see you in the chat because you both have X's in front of your names. That's funny. You both have X's in the as the first letter and the last letter of your names, and you both start with S. Silent Spartan and Shadowlink. Really appreciate that, Shadowlink. Thank you. You're saying it's pretty tame? Okay. All right, we'll watch it then. Let me add the those 10 memberships to the goal now. We're at 111 members on the day. So don't worry, we will be doing so. What we're going to do, it won't be today because I got off to a late start, which I couldn't do anything about that. But the next stream we do, whether it be tomorrow or Sunday, I want to do that Astrobot gameplay with you guys because I need to finish that last level, and I'm stuck on it. So I don't know if you guys know what level I'm talking about. They released the latest batch of DLC, and there's one more mastery level, and it's one of the harder ones. I've struggled with this game a couple times with some levels, Astrobot that is, and not quite like this though. Like I am actually really stuck on this level. So yeah, it's really, really difficult, dude. Like that's why I was telling PlayStation Pete when he said he got it. I'm like, that's impressive. Like this is a struggle. So I was thinking maybe I could do like a members lounge where I just try to force myself to get good, man, at this fight because it's the last one, and then I 100% the entire game. It's driving me crazy. But yeah, let's bring up that Mortal Kombat trailer. You're still in the last wave before the most recent wave. Oh yeah, it gets pretty tough. Yeah, Chase, that's what makes it hard. You got to chip away at it. Have you reacted already to the Mighty Keith skit? Which one? Shadowlink says MBG gifting is fun and allows others to join the members lounge. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to get on a better schedule where we're going to start doing more members content. I've been slacking on the members content, and I feel really bad because, dude, yeah, you guys have been extremely generous with the member gifts, and I want to make sure I do a better job with that. So coming up soon, we'll be getting on a more, hopefully a more consistent schedule. The player that goons too much. Oh yeah, you told me about that. He did a PlayStation Fanatic skit. Oh no. Uh-oh. You know what? All right. Next members lounge tomorrow. Well, see this, I don't know. I guess we'll have to do both. In one of the upcoming members lounges we're going to react to these skits. Did he really do a PlayStation Fanatic skit? Because that's going to be brutal. I'm nervous about that one. It's good. Dude, yeah, Mighty Keith's really funny. He puts out some funny shit. All right, let me bring up the Mortal Kombat trailer. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. And I'm going to move myself over a little bit. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I'm running into a technical difficulty. There we go. All right. Let's check it out. Say real quick, man, somebody said earlier, they're like, man, it's hard to imagine, like, you can't really see Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. And I have to admit that I kind of understand what you're talking about. Like, he looks like Johnny Cage. I just see Butcher, bro. Like, that's what's messing me up. It's his role that he plays in The Boys that's messing me up. Where if I never saw him in the role of Butcher, I think I would be able to be sold more easily. And he's not doing the accent. I think he's doing an American accent now. But I like hear Butcher, and it's messing with me. Katana. Oh yeah. Damn, dude. That does look good. That looks like it. That looks like it's right out of the game, dude. Hey, hold on. You're right. You're right. That's the woman who's in Intergalactic. Is that her? Yeah, I think that is her. I recognize that head anywhere. You weren't kidding. She's actually in this movie. Damn, dude. She's Tati Gabrielle. Yeah, she's I guess she's in more things now. Okay, I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Is he not giving Butcher energy? Right? Like, I feel like he's doing an American version of Butcher. Is it just me? Like, he looks like an older Johnny Cage, but every time he talks, I'm like, it's older Butcher. Or American Butcher, sorry. It's older Johnny Cage, but I'm getting American Butcher vibes. Is it just me? Okay, it's just me. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's got me all messed up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like, some parts I'm seeing I feel like look good and look promising. There are other things I'm seeing, like this shot looks great. Like that, yeah, that's Mortal Kombat. This scene looks like it's going to be pretty sick, fighting in the jungle. You know what I think it is? I think it might be the effects and stuff. Anything when it comes to the VFX, I'm thinking is looking kind of something about it's looking, I don't know if it's like a lower budget movie, maybe. Like that looks really, I mean, yeah, that looks kind of, yeah, I don't know about that. And then when they were showing Baraka talking, like that's looking kind of rough right there. I'm not trying to be like hypercritical, but I mean, dude, it's got that. The thing about it though is like, after playing the recent Mortal Kombat games and playing through the stories, I don't know how serious this is meant to be taken at this point. I haven't watched the first one. Some people were telling me that I don't really need to watch the first one, although if I am going to see this, I should watch the first one. But it's not, I don't know. It's not that bad. I'm like 50-50 on it. I could see it being one of these movies where I watch it and it's like better than I expected. Or I'm going to watch it and be like, oh man, I don't know. That was kind of. Jax. I mean, some of the fight scenes look really good. And it's interesting because they are seemingly going with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage being like the main character. The 96 movie was super cheesy but awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's given me that vibe a little bit. I'm not sure though. Like, will it be able to surpass the original Mortal Kombat movie? I don't know what it is about it that's so good. I feel like it's going to be tough to live up to. The sequel, what was it, like Mortal Kombat Annihilation? The sequel to the original movie was like a dumpster fire, bro. If I remember correctly, like that was like real bad, like real bad. Lyndon Ashby, that's what makes the movie good. Rudy, you're saying just stop by to say that Microsoft has the top 5 selling games on PlayStation Store. Crazy times, triple anus. Crazy times indeed. Are we about to see Helldivers as the best selling game on Xbox? What's going on? Yeah, it's definitely going for a little bit of the. It's trying to, based off of this trailer, it seems like it's trying to go for the. It's trying to be just serious enough, but not so serious that it's losing that cheese factor. Like, you're right. It does have, it's going for some cheese here, but like that looks pretty sick. Noob. I guess that is that supposed to be Kano? Damn. Good stuff, man. Let me go. Let's go check some of the comments. It says here, Scorpion pulling Noob Shadow Clone out was insane. The fact that Raiden had the OG Mortal Kombat outfit makes it all worth it. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I hope they gave Carl Urban's stunt double a quadruple race. Feels like this should have been the first Mortal Kombat movie, not the second. Yeah, that's what I find kind of interesting is like apparently this is a sequel, but this does feel like Mortal Kombat 1. Like it feels like this should be the first one. Kano was in the one before this. You think he's going to win a Razzie Award? I didn't believe they'd make Noob look so MK11-ish, and I'm all for it. He looks awesome. This looks like a full-on Johnny Cage movie, and I'm not complaining. So glad the OG Get Over Here is back. Yeah, true. Scorpion Fatality was awesome. Seeing Cole Young with no lines gave me chills. You know what's interesting, man, is, yeah, I mean, the people seem to be pretty hyped for this. I gotta say. Katana looks absolutely stunning. Such a gorgeous actress. Bald Jade disturbs me. Oh, God. Oh, man. Yo, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. We can't escape it. This woman and her baldness is not going... It's going to be everywhere we go now. No. No. How are we here? How did we get here? We can't be here again. Do you think she was contractually obligated to stay bald because she's also starring in she's also starring in Intergalactic? I have to say, it all seems to be very positive. I will say I'm a little bit surprised. I thought there was going to be a little bit more negativity in the comment section, but we have a rare instance where it's pretty much almost everything except Bald Jade. It's full circle. Everything I read except Bald Jade seems to be positive. So, all right, man. Yeah, I'll have to. I'm assuming it was releasing in theaters. In theaters, October 20. I could see this being a movie I go see with Mrs. MBG. She's always been a Mortal Kombat fan. Saying this is a money shot right here. There we go, man. Ticket sold for Silent Spartan. On IGN's channel, the #1 comment is, "Why is Jade bald?" What is Neil doing to us, man? What is Neil doing to us? I can't, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of can't believe this. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, let's let me I'm gonna move this back over here. Get this off screen. We'll do a couple reps. I do owe you guys some reps. Play some music. We'll get some reps in and we'll wrap up the stream. What should I play though? Music wise. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Really? Okay. Bug snacks. Yo, I forgot about bug snacks. Do some Metallica. Every Metallica song is so long, though. You got any Metallica fans? Tarnish says hello. I couldn't tune into the stream. I'm sorry. It's all good. We do a lot of streams. You can't tune into everyone. You can't tune into every stream, you know? It's too many. And Isley comes in dropping a single member gift. Isley's still going with the member train, bringing us to 112. Isley, thank you so much for that. You know I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll get some reps in. Wrath of Atlas. I mean, yeah, is Metallica... I don't know. Is Metallica 2... This is the problem, dude. At this point, every time I go to do reps, I get hung up on what song I should play. That's like a 7-minute or 6.5-minute song, but I did as many reps continuously till I pretty much got pretty damn close to reaching failure there. I want to go do full failure on stream. Nobody needs to see that, but I have like this. Got a pump. What's crazy is that's Dave playing guitar. Is it? Yeah. I mean, the idea of Dave Mustaine, like an alternate universe where he was still in Metallica, but then you would have never got Megadeth, you know? I think it worked out. I think it all worked out. And Silent Spartan, I saw you say earlier, or Shadow Link, sorry, you should prepare 2 songs just in case we reach the mark. Yeah, at this point, I probably should try to have you guys have been crushing goals left and right, so I probably should have a song or 2 ready to go. But yeah, there we go. We got some reps in. We pretty much checked off the entire list today, man. We gave the cats treats. Leia got her catnip. We got some reps in, and we did it all. Oh wow, look at Leia. She's totally passed out. She's completely annihilated from that catnip, dude. What's up, Leia? You good? Yeah, she's feeling good. But all right, guys, I think that will wrap up today's stream. We went for about another half hour longer. Yeah, before I head out, I want to once again extend a massive thank you to everybody who tuned in. We did start the stream later today. Mrs. MBG had a doctor's appointment she had to go to, so I was still able to do a stream just a little bit later on. We should be back to a normal schedule, if not tomorrow, but starting like Sunday and going forward. We're going to be doing some more members content. Like I said, I want to get on a more consistent members content schedule. We've been gaining a lot of new members thanks to all of the generous gifting that's been done. And I've been noticing people renewing their memberships as well. So thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the member gifts, super chats, direct donations, all that stuff. Really helps the stream, really helps the channel, and basically allows me to continue what I do here. So thank you so much for that. Also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. So if you guys see him in the comments, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he appreciates it. He does a great job with the timestamps. So, Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, man. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up. The only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is hit that like button on your way out. And we'll see. I don't know for sure if we're going to have a stream tomorrow or not. Just have your notifications turned on and just be on the lookout. But if we don't do a stream, if we don't do any content tomorrow, we will be back here for sure on Sunday. But we still might be back here tomorrow. It depends on what topics we have. So not guaranteed, Tarnished. Not saying we won't be here for sure tomorrow. Just be on the lookout. We might be. We might be. It's been a slower news week. You know, it's been a slower news week. PlayStation in particular has been very quiet. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But all right, guys, that does it. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. I will catch you guys in the next one. So till then, take care, everyone.